against the Buffalo Bills later. The Giants and Eagles. It is a very tight race indeed, as you see the Giants together on the sideline. And the Philadelphia Eagles, who are 2-3 as well. They lost their first 2 of the season. Then they defeated the Bills and the Redskins before their loss to the Dallas Cowboys. And Kerry Collins, who has had rough going as of late, Troy.
Well, he really has. The last 2 weeks in particular, 7 interceptions, no touchdowns over that time. And he knows that they've gotten away from what allowed them to have success a year ago. He believes that they need to come into this game, be balanced, run the ball a little bit more than what they have.
But they can't turn it over. They have certainly struggled with that the last couple of weeks, and despite rolling up a lot of yardage, just not any points to show for it.
So Andy Reid's Eagles will get the ball first. Brett Conway will do the honors for the Giants to get this game underway. And Brian Westbrook, who came out of the Cowboys game in the 4th quarter with a hip pointer, is back to return the short kick at the 11-yard line. Brian Westbrook is hit and smacked down hard as he crosses the 15-yard line. So Donovan McNabb playing with that bruised bone in his right thumb, and he also has a leg injury which could curtail his running as well, according to Andy Reid. And refusing to come out of the lineup. He is a battler and a competitor, and so he is giving it a go again as you look at his completion percentage last in the NFL. 3 wide receivers and Brian Westbrook line up behind McNabb. Thrash in motion, and the screen to Westbrook out of the backfield, and he gets up to the 31-yard line, picking up 3 yards. Ryan Clark making the tackle. The rest of the Eagles offense, and guys, they're going to have to do a good job of protecting him better.
Well, and I think that's the thing that Andy Reid was most disappointed in last week was, yes, Donovan struggled. Yes, the wide receivers struggled, but the offensive line just did not do a great job protecting.
And the wide receivers have yet to catch a touchdown pass. Unusual going into the 6th game. It'll be 2nd down and 7. And the give is to Westbrook off the left side. He will be stopped short of the 1st down by a couple of yards, with Kenny Holmes making the tackle for the Giants. Taking a look at the Giant defensive unit. And since Michael Strahan has upped his game, the defense has gotten better.
Yeah, but really big in the secondary. Will Peterson, one of their outstanding cornerbacks, not able to go in this game. Ralph Brown will take his spot.
And Andy Reid said, we will give Ralph Brown all the opportunities to make plays today, as Will Peterson, with a stress fracture in the lower back, watches on the sideline. 3rd down and 1. Here is Westbrook, and he'll get the 1st down and moves out beyond the 45-yard line. And a pickup of 10 yards. So the Eagles keeping the ball on the ground, save for the opening screen pass, and a 1st down at the 46.
Well, and that's really an important 1st down. Of course, it's the first series, your first time to get into a 3rd down conversion opportunity. And on the road, an offense that's struggling, you want to be able to come out, get the ball going, and try to get something going offensively. It was a nice job converting on 3rd down, and nice job of running the ball the first couple of opportunities here in this first series.
Correct. Correll Buckhalter and all 3 of the running backs scored touchdowns last week, including Deuce Staley. Here is Buckhalter with John Ritchie blocking, and he crosses midfield, fumbles, and the Giants recover at midfield. Sean Williams, the Giants' strong safety, picks up the loose ball. So it's been the Giants who have been coughing it up, but on the first possession, the Eagles fumble.
And Michael Barrow, the outstanding middle linebacker, comes up with a huge hit on Corell Buckhalter, just right underneath the chin. It's just one of those, Troy, that you kind of get knocked a little bit silly and lose the ball. Sometimes you get hit on the ball, sometimes you get hit underneath the chin, and you just can't control it anymore. Huge start to the ball game. We saw in the first kickoff a big hit, then Michael Barrow coming back with a huge shot there.
Hey, the Giants are -8 in turnovers. The Eagles not that much better now at -7. 1st down on the Giant 49. With 2 tight ends, they give is to Tiki Barber. And Barber, who has had fumble problems, picking up 6 yards on 1st down. with Troy Vincent and Andy Kalu making the tackle. The Giant offensive line still with the two rookies, Lucier and Deal, but they're doing a better job.
They are doing a better job, and they were criticized a few games back for the job that they were doing, but over the last 2 weeks, they've started to do a much better job protecting and giving Tiki some areas to run the football.
And Jeremy Shockey, despite the sore foot, didn't practice, but in the lineup. 2nd down and 4. And the pass thrown to Barber. He makes the catch, gets the first down to the 39-yard line before Carlos Evans, the Eagle linebacker, grabs him, and a gain of 6 yards. So the Giants trying to capitalize on the turnover as you look at the Eagles defense, and very strong against the run this year, led by Simon and Walker in the middle.
Yeah, and I think the big news is that Bobby Taylor is back at cornerback, so now they have both Troy Vincent and Bobby Taylor, both Pro Bowl cornerbacks, back in the lineup.
And they hope to get Brian Dawkins, the other Pro Bowler, in a couple of weeks. First down Giants on the reverse. The ball kicked away. Ike Hilliard way back on his 40-yard line, and the Giants are going to just settle for keeping the ball on a botched end around. But it was Darwin Walker who put the pressure in that totally messed up that Giant play, and a loss of 19.
Darwin Walker's been a man on a mission for the past several weeks. You're going to see him right here. He's the inside defensive tackle. He just jumps and gets a great jump off of the ball, and there's nobody there in order to get a body on him, and that play had no opportunity right from the beginning. As soon as you get that kind of pressure on that side of the ball, there's no chance on a reverse.
But that's a crazy scheme. They didn't even have Rich Seibert trying to put a hand on him. He just let him run through.
They run the ball on 2nd down and 30, and Tiki Barber gets a good chunk of it back as he carries to the Eagle 45-yard line, getting 14 of those 19 back, with Lewis and Hart, the two safeties, on the play.
Well, the offensive line, again, we talk about the guys inside, these young rookie offensive linemen at center and guard, and yet look at the hole that they've got right there for Tiki Barber, and he's way into the 3rd level before anybody's even able to make contact with him. Of course, Philadelphia playing a little bit softer, expecting a pass in that situation.
3rd and 15. Out of the shotgun. Barry Collins, and whistle, and our first penalty of the game, a false start call against the Giants. And our referee today is Tom White.
False start. Number 77 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
You know, and the plan remains the same against this New York Giants offense, and that being fairly simple. Don't give up the big play. Make them go 10, 12-play drives without imploding. I mean, this offense for the last 2 weeks has seen the exact same thing. Soft coverage. Let's see if you can go that long without a turnover, without a major penalty, and the Giants can't.
They tried a little trickery, and it backfired, so they look at 3rd and 21. With Mitchell and Barber, the backs, all going out on the pass pattern, and this pass intended for Amani Toomer, thrown out of bounds, and 4th down coming up, so the Giants can't make hay on that fumble recovery, and they'll have to punt.
Well, and that's really a great job by this Eagles defense. The offense turns the ball over, gives the ball to the Giants with tremendous field position, and for the Eagles to hold and not even give up a field goal opportunity, nice job. And of course that was started by Darwin Walker and the play he made there on 2nd down.
Jeff Eagles, who's a great directional kicker and one of the most valuable Giants of this young season, whatever that says, and Brian Westbrook, the fair catch at the 11-yard line. So we've just started things. The teams feeling each other out. Eagles avoid a turnover. The score remains 0-0.
Southwest Airlines, friendly nonstop service all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom.
Scoreless here at Giant Stadium. The Eagles will begin from the 11-yard line. Donovan McNabb, who did not rush at all last week, which is unusual for him. He is the 2nd leading runner on the team, averaging nearly 6 yards a carry.
He did have a big scramble and throw to Deuce, though.
And Deuce is in the game right now for his first action. First down, and the pass thrown to Brian Westbrook. And Westbrook gets a couple of yards, and that is all. And for our first game break of the day, let's check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, can show you how quickly Atlanta struck. Second play of the game. Warrick Dunn takes it 69 yards to pay dirt. Atlanta on top quickly, 6-0. But guess what? 3 plays later, the Saints come back. Aaron Brooks hooking up with Dante Stallworth. How far? 69 yards. We're all knotted at 7 in Atlanta. Back to Dick Stockton.
It's a veritable track meet down there. Eagles with 2nd down and 8 on the 13, and Westbrook off the left side and is stopped short of the 20-yard line. Picking up 6 yards with Brown and Barrow on the play.
You know, I used to think it was such an easy choice picking out one of these running backs. I really thought that Brian Westbrook had become the man, but you watched the game last week, and Deuce Staley had a huge play in that game on a play where he was really blocking in the backfield and just read the defense. A veteran move, came out and scored a touchdown on a pass, and Correll Buckhalter made a beautiful run for what was potentially the game-winning touchdown. So they're going to play all 3, but I think Westbrook still has a bit of an edge if you had to pick just one.
Very versatile guy is Westbrook out of the game right now. Deuce Staley in there with 2 tight ends. McNabb's pass, and it is ruled a catch at the 26 for a first down. Chad Lewis, the tight end. A lot of people have been wondering, Troy, where Chad Lewis has been.
Well, you're right. I mean, in 2000, he caught 60-some balls and was really a big part of this offense. And then over the last couple of years, that philosophy has changed a little bit. He's still a very productive guy, as you see right here, working over the middle of the field. And you know, we need to keep an eye on this thumb by Donovan McNabb, as we've talked about. I watched him throw in pregame warmups, and it appeared that it was not bothering him. He's throwing the ball extremely well. You mentioned him not moving around last week. The other problem, as we've talked about, is his leg, and you combine his thumb with the lack of ability to scramble, it does create some problems.
Play action on first down. Again, 2 tight ends, and going deep downfield, the pass was underthrown and a flag comes down. Todd Pinkston had to come back from the ball. The guy they were working on, to no one's surprise, is Ralph Brown, starting in place of Will Peterson. And the pass was underthrown, forcing Pinkston to come back, and then came the contact.
Well, they run basically a fake post pattern and go on the outside with Todd Pinkston. And Pinkston was a good 3 or 4 yards behind Brown. Brown bit all over this thing. Pinkston had him, and McNabb simply didn't get the football out there. Now, the timing may have been off, whatever, but that was a real opportunity for Donovan McNabb to get on the board early.
Well, I know Ralph Brown, who's been the nickel corner, but because of the injury to Will Peterson, now he is the second corner and playing on the outside. Talking to Andy Reid last night, he said, we're going to take opportunities on this guy. We're going to make him cover our wide receiver.
Pass interference. Defense. That's a first down.
And a 40-yard penalty called against Ralph Brown.
And Troy, we talked with Donovan last night, and he admitted something that surprised me a little bit. He said that he has actually worked on changing his thumb position to try and find a place where it's comfortable for him to throw the ball. And I don't know if he just mistimed that or just doesn't have the ability right now because of that thumb to get it out there. But that ball was underthrown by about 7 to 10 yards.
I think that's when he's going to notice it the most, is when he's got to throw the ball from 30 to 40 yards downfield, as we just saw.
From the 34-yard line, pass caught by Chad Lewis, the tight end. And Lewis picking up a gain of 8 yards. I think when the crowd saw the replay on the stadium vision, they saw the fact that they thought Brown was playing the ball and he ran into Pinkston.
Well, it's the hardest thing for a defensive back is when you're going down the field on a deep throw, and when it's an underthrown ball, the receiver starts coming back to it. Invariably, the defender's going to go through the wide receiver to try to get back to it and make a play. Very tough for a defensive back to make plays on underthrown deep balls.
2nd down and 2, and here is Westbrook cutting upfield, and he'll be stopped short of the first down by a yard. Good defensive play by Kenny Holmes, and that will bring up 3rd down and short.
Michael Strahan is back to being Michael Strahan again. 3 sacks in the last 2 ball games. He had the toe injury that limited him a little bit. We talked to him yesterday, and he says, now I'm feeling the best I've felt in a long time, and it really showed up in his play a week ago.
Strahan needing 1/2 sack to become the second Giant to amass 100 sacks in a career. 3rd down and 1. handoff to Buckhalter, and Correll Buckhalter will get the first down as he powers his way inside the 25-yard line.
Troy, one of the things that I thought was almost insulting to Donovan McNabb was the way the Cowboys played them defensively last week. There had to be at least 7 different times at key moments in the game they went blitz coverage. Blitz coverage essentially means no free safety. So they're playing those wideouts one-on-one, essentially sticking their tongue out at Donovan McNabb and saying, I dare you to throw the football down the field.
I think it even went beyond that, though, Chris. I tended to look at it more at an insult to these wide receivers because there was not a lot of separation created for Donovan to even get the ball to them.
And the end around to Thrash was trapped trying to reverse his direction, and now will suffer a loss on the play. Dhani Jones with good alert play and a loss of 2 yards. So other than the pass interference call, the Giant defense very, very effective.
Well, it's just a really nice job on the backside here of containing. Anytime the ball goes away, as it did, you've got to get up the field and contain. Dhani Jones does a nice job of at least turning it back inside, even though he wasn't able to make the play. But because he got up the field, they weren't able to get outside with that reverse.
And remember, it was the Miami game. They really got burned on one of those.
McKnight on the reverse. The big play, 2nd and 13, and the whistle will stop the play. Preliminary signal indicates a false start call against the Eagles.
False start. Number 72 offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 2nd down.
And these are the types of things that offenses that are struggling go through. We saw the fumble in the first series when they tried to come out, throw the short pass, run the ball, they get a first down, ball's on the ground. Now as you move in here and you get closer into that red zone, you start putting yourself in difficult situations. Now you're looking at 2nd and long. It's very difficult for a struggling offense to overcome 2nd and 18.
Yeah, both teams looking like they're trying to spring the gimmick play to get a big yardage. On 2nd and 18, McNabb under pressure and completes the pass to L.J. Smith, the tight end, the rookie from Rutgers, inside the 15-yard line, picking up 25, and the Eagles threaten.
Well, Michael Strahan with good pressure just missed getting there on the outside, and then L.J. Smith with a very late delay caught Brandon Short sleeping just a little bit. He delayed so long, I think Short took his eyes off of him in man coverage for just a moment, and that was long enough for Smith to get open.
Yeah, L.J. Smith, he looks like he's doubling up and helping out on Michael Strahan, and because he stops in there and blocks, yeah, the Brandon Short thinks he's staying in. He takes off to cover someone else, opens up the middle for L.J. Smith.
And McNabb, a perfect 5 for 5, sore thumb and all. And here is McNabb getting a lot of time and trying to run away, fires into the end zone, incomplete at the 1. Ryan Westbrook. The ball hit the ground, and the official very emphatic about that fact.
You just almost never get that call as a receiver when those low balls come in there. The official was right in front of it, so you know he had a great look at it. See if it one-hops here. You know, I think he got his hands on it and caught it, but when the tip of the ball hits the ground like that, they're not going to give you that completion. I think that's a good call by the officials.
Second down and goal at the 6-yard line. They keep it on the ground to Westbrook going outside. He's hit once, dives in, touchdown, signal given, he's over. Ryan Westbrook with a terrific lunge into the end zone after he was hit by a Giant defender. Ralph Brown had missed him, and the Eagles strike back.
That was a terrific job by Westbrook as far as getting the ball into the end zone, but what allowed him to get into the end zone was James Thrash on the outside. Wide receiver, you're going to watch him. He comes up the field and he's going to be blocking on Will Allen, and because he's able to shield him right there, it creates the space, which gives Westbrook an opportunity to go at the pylon.
I tell you who else made a nice block was L.J. Smith inside, a very athletic block for a tight end.
Crowd now quiet with 3:14 to go as the Eagles jump in front 6-0, and David Akers adds the extra point. So for the 4th straight game, Ryan Westbrook scores a touchdown on the ground for the Eagles. He had one last week against Dallas. Philly up 7-0.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Visa. If you love the NFL, it's everywhere you want to be.
Very impressive scoring drive by the Eagles of 89 yards, helped by the 41-yard pass interference call against Ralph Brown, but McNabb nearly perfect. And Westbrook scoring a touchdown, coming off that hip pointer injury against Dallas, coming out big. And here's Jim Fossil talking to the field judge over on the sideline. Eagles in front, 7-0. Last year when these teams played in that dramatic game, which you guys covered on the last weekend, the Giants winning 10-7 in overtime. The Eagles had a chance to wrap up home field advantage throughout the NFC playoffs and lost the game. The Giants won the wild card, but because the Green Bay Packers were beaten the next day, the Eagles ultimately wound up having the home field, and that didn't do them any good. They lost to Tampa Bay.
Well, and the Giants went into that game last year with a lot of momentum on their side. In fact, a lot of these players said they went back and watched that tape to find out how they could kind of recapture some of the energy and emotion that they were playing with at that time.
Akers with the line drive kick, and Brian Mitchell, the former Eagle and Redskin, but most recently 3 years in Philadelphia, carries it out to the 23-yard line, and a 17-yard return. Giants try to answer the Eagles' score when we come back.
The Horns Dodge by IBM, official information technology partner of the NFL. By Sprint, proudly offering picture mail and PCS Vision picture phones. And by long-lasting Energizer. Do you have the bunny inside?
Back at Giants Stadium, the Eagles lead the Giants 7-0. Giants are 1-2 here at home this year. One opening day against the Rams and lost to the Cowboys in overtime, and then the Miami Dolphins. As you see, the Eagles with a great exhibition of ball control thus far. Speaking of the Rams, they lead the Packers 7-3, as you see in the upper right-hand portion of your screen in the first quarter.
I wonder if Brett Favre has any bad memories of that place. You remember that game he had all those interceptions?
I think that's probably past now as the handoff goes to Tiki Barber, trying to run against the top rushing defense in the NFL, and he picks up 5.
The rule on this key play now is if, in the official's judgment, Ralph Brown had turned around and looked back for the ball, then that should not have been pass interference. And I thought that Ralph Brown's head was turned all the way around and looking back for the ball, and yet Todd Pinkston going up for it. You're allowed to battle in that situation, and yet they got the pass interference call.
2nd and 6. And here is Collins getting time, and he's going to be able to run, and he should run for the first down as he goes out of bounds at the 37, picking up 11. And right now, let's check in with James Brown for a game break. JB.
Hey, Dick, I know Chris Collinsworth appreciates this route here. Take a look at Torrey Holt, a smart post, if you will. Not quite a skinny post, but a smart one. Hooking up with Mark Bulger. Bulger 8-0 at home as a starter. Right now, they're on top 7-3 over Green Bay. Back to Dick, Troy, Chris, and Pam.
Yeah, I'm much more qualified for the skinny post than the smart post. I agree, JB.
And you are our skinny post, so to speak, as you see the standings in the NFC West, led by Seattle. On the delay, Tiki Barber with a good run. Barber picking up 14 yards early. Now Andy Kalu making the tackle after Tiki picks up 8 yards, and the Giants short of a first down by a couple.
This offensive line, we've talked about the improvement. Look up inside here. These two guys, left guard Rich Seibert and then Wayne Lucier, they're going to double team there on Darwin Walker, and you see they get the push. Tiki Barber able to bounce that out to the next hole, but a nice job by those guys up inside getting some movement. That's going to be a key for them throughout this day.
And a 2 tight end formation, and they run it up the middle. No first down for Tiki Barber as he runs right into Corey Simon. Now the Giants looking at the 3rd and short. And Rich Seibert is injured, the Giant left guard you were just referring to.
Well, that's one they cannot afford right there. They have so many young guys up there, the rookies, Lucier and David Deal, playing in this game. Chris Bober playing out of position. The strong side of this defense has been their left side with Pettigrew and Seibert. Now you take away that, and they're really going to have a tough time.
You see right there, look. They look like they're checking the ankle or the knee, but the ankle looked like it went as well. And
Look,
Right.
he's waving them over right now.
Well, they can make changes, and Chris Bober had been the center, and he could move back to that position. But Seibert still on the ground being tended to. And this appears to be a real tough injury for Rich Seibert, the Giant left guard. And Jeff Rail, an undrafted rookie from Northwestern, has already come into the game and will replace him at that position.
You can see the air cast going on. They're pumping the air into that cast, and obviously a terrible injury. I talked with Rich this week, and he was so excited about the way this offensive line was coming on. He said, we have so many young guys and the rookies up front, and he just thought they were right on the brink of really coming together as a unit. And now it looks like they're going to have to play 3 rookies at the center and 2 guard positions.
There was a time during the season when they did play Rail, Lucier, and Deal at the same time. Won't be the first time they've had 3 rookies in there. We'll be back. And there's a lot of positive stuff in the league, like Corey Simon helping Seibert get onto the gurney to be taken off, and the rest of the Philadelphia Eagles coming over in an intense game. These clubs are fighting. This is an important game, and they were out there to help. 3rd down and 2. Rail has replaced him, and here comes the blitz. It's picked up, and the pass caught by Marcellus Rivers, close to the first down, depending on the spot. Right now, let's check in with Pam Oliver for the first time. Pam.
Hey, Dick, as you saw, a tremendous setback for the Giants offensive line. Left guard Rich Seibert had to be carted off the field. He got a huge ovation as he left, waving a towel in the air. What the Giants are saying now is it's a lower leg fracture. Don't know the degree of that fracture, which will, of course, determine how much time we'll miss. Back here.
Thank you, Pam. And so Rail thrust into it with 2 other rookies. Giants did get the first down on their 48. Nearly half a minute remaining in the first quarter. Collins looking and completing again to Rivers, his 2nd straight reception, and he is dragged out of bounds, thrown out of bounds after picking up 5 by Emmons.
Yeah, and Marcellus Rivers last week had 4 receptions. Of course, their rookie Shenko had been the guy who had been playing early in the season, and now Marcellus Rivers, due to some of the mistakes that Shenko had been making, is the number 2 tight end behind Jeremy Shockey, and he's a big target. He's got good hands. Did a nice job last week, and already so far today, he's been a part of this game plan.
That was his career high, Troy, with the 4 catches for nearly 50 yards. Could be the last play, and will be, of this first quarter, as Tiki Barber gets upended for no gain as the quarter comes to an end. That is the end of the first here at Giant Stadium. With the score, the Eagles 7 and the Giants nothing. And the NFL on Fox will continue after these messages. And that includes time of possession, but maybe the most important fact for the Giants, Rich Seibert out with a leg injury, and so far nothing has really gone right for the Giants, and it kind of cast a pall, including the injury, the pass interference call, not taking advantage of the turnover, and thus we start 7-0 Eagles. That wasn't easy to put in, I'm sure. Here is the quick out to Tiki Barber. Barber will get the first down to the 40-yard line. So the Giants maintain possession, picking up 7 yards, and this is a club that obviously needs a spark to get back in the game.
Well, and I think, like when we were talking to Jim Fossil, and he said the offensive line was starting to come along and play very well, and he said for the first time in a few weeks, I feel very comfortable executing the game plan that I want. Now you wonder how much that's going to be taken away with the injury to Seibert and then bringing in another rookie in Jeff Rail.
Yeah, and I would have to say that if I had to pick one position that they could not have a major injury on this Giants team, it would be on that offensive line.
No question about it. And here's Shockey dropping a pass. First time they've gone to the Giant tight end, and it's in and out of his hands.
Yeah, there's 2 things there, though, Dick. You got Jeremy Shockey, who's running that crossing route, but it's not man-to-man coverage. Nate Wayne is sitting out in front of that, and you're going to see Nate Wayne is right here, and he's going to drop where Jeremy Shockey is going to be coming underneath, and Jeremy's got to recognize that, and he's got to sit that thing down in the hole and give him a target, give Kerry Collins a target to put the ball on him. That should have been an easy completion if they...
A flag down home.
2nd and 10, and here is Barber following Rail's block off the left side, and nothing there. And he is knocked back. An aggressive Philadelphia defense led by Clinton Hart, the free safety, who's been in there for Brian Dawkins, expected to get back. Second half of our Fox doubleheader coming up later. Redskins and the Bills. And the people in the New York area will see as the Redskins go in with a 3-3 record at Buffalo.
There's some people in New York who slept in a little bit today. I mean, I don't know if anybody around here has been getting much sleep watching all the baseball they've been watching.
At 2, and our guys will be at Yankee Stadium tonight for Game 2 of the World Series. 3rd and 12 from the 42. And Collins being chased down, trying to find a receiver. He does, but it's not going to do much good. They get inside the 40-yard line, perhaps setting up a long field goal. Barber on the catch, picking up only 3. And for a game break, let's check in with JB in Los Angeles.
Hey, Dick, as you well know, many consider Dallas having the best receiving corps in the league. Quincy Carter hooking up with one of them. Terry Glenn dotting the I very nicely. Chris Collinsworth, I know you would appreciate that as well. All tied at 7. Back to Dick Stockton.
I do indeed. They are good, though. Those Cowboys receivers can play.
Boy, they believe in the coach and they believe in themselves, apparently. Looking to go 5-1 as Jeff Feagles trying to kick to the near sideline. The fair catch by Brian Westbrook inside the 10.
And Jeff Feagles, he's 3rd in the league, putting the ball inside the 10-yard line on punts. He's done a fabulous job for this team.
Giants MVP, maybe.
Rated PG by HP. HP Technology Services and people help make more things more possible. And by AT&T Wireless. Go to the game alone and take all your friends with you. Reach out on the wireless service America trusts.
And over in the Bronx, Yankee Stadium, the scene of tonight's Game 2. Marlins winning last night 3-2, playing small ball as the Yankees lost for the first time in 11 games at the stadium in the World Series. And the give to Brian Westbrook to the 10, picking up just a yard on the play. Brandon Short and Kenny Holmes. The Giants rotating their defensive lineman with Lance Legree and their #1 pick William Joseph in the lineup at defensive tackle.
Yeah, and I don't know that defensive line has really gotten enough credit for the job that they've done. Of course, earlier we talked about the job that Michael Strahan has done the last couple of weeks, but those guys inside, particular Cornelius Griffin, is playing outstanding, and Lance Legree, he's a real fire plug in there in the middle.
2nd down and 9. 3 wideouts and Deuce Staley on this formation, and McNabb looking to run, and now trapped. Holmes getting to him, and the pass is deflected away. And Brandon Short trying to wrest it away from Deuce Staley, and a flag is down at about the 10.
Well, it looked like they might have had an offensive lineman downfield.
Well, the play took so long to develop. I've never seen a play quite like that. Donovan McNabb was going to pass, and then he clearly made up his mind to run, and then he got trapped and said, well, I might as well throw it back out of here. And then probably some of those offensive linemen were thinking he's already taken off.
Lineman downfield, number 63.
It was Hank Freely, the center.
Yeah, and what happened, Dick, was that it was a designed quarterback draw. So you drop back, the linemen are going to set, show pass, and they're going to go down the field and block. It wasn't there. Donovan then tried to make a play out of it, but he's got to realize he's going to have ineligible men downfield on a designed draw.
And he tried to force it as well. So 3rd down and 9. From the 10-yard line, McNabb inside his 5 and finds Westbrook out of the backfield, but he could not hold on. And that'll bring up 4th down deep in Eagle territory. For a game break, let's go back out to Los Angeles and James Brown.
Hey, Dick, let me throw a little love Troy Aikman's way. Oh, Troy, look at Aaron Brooks hooking up deep. Joe Horn, 32-yard strike. New Orleans nursing a 1-point lead. Then Mark Bulger handing off running back by committee, the rookie Arlen Harris, 3 yards, and it's 14-3 Rams over Green Bay. Back to Dick, Troy, Chris, and Pam.
All right, JB, and now the Eagles. Dirk Johnson punting for the first time from the end zone. Does not get off a good kick, and it will bounce at around the 42. And the Giants will have the ball in Philadelphia territory at about the 45. And so the Giants with an opportunity. Now the injured thumb has been holding up, but you see it's a little tender for Donovan McNabb. But the Eagles in front, 7-0. We're early in the second. The Eagles lead the Giants 7-0. The Giants can't ask for a better situation than they've had as far as field position concerned. Their starts on their own 43. They'll start this drive on the Eagles 45. Give is to Delvin Joyce coming into the game to give Tiki Barber a breather, and he picks up 6 yards on his first carry.
Yeah, and Delvin Joyce, who has not had a lot of opportunities to run the football. He only had 4 rushing attempts coming into this game, and they brought in Dorsey Levens really to be the number 2 guy, but Delvin Joyce beat him out in training camp. He is now the backup running back to Tiki Barber, but they haven't done a good job of getting him in the game and taking some of the pressure off of Tiki.
Well, they haven't. Ron Dane, who is inactive once again, as the pass underneath to Jeremy Shockey, close to the first down. Mark Semino making the hit, and the Giants may have the first down, and they do.
I'll tell you, I thought it was significant. On the first play, they came out and ran right behind the three rookies, Rail and Lucier and Deal, and picked up about 5 yards. They're going to have to prove to these Eagles that they can run the football if they're going to be able to pass protect.
Well, checking audible here, but I think the real key has been the fact that they are staying committed to running the ball.
On-the-job training for these rookies, and on first down, pass thrown incomplete, intended for Amani Toomer.
Well, now the difficult part comes in, though, in pass protection, because anytime you have not only three rookies, but three guys who aren't really used to playing together, and you get Jim Johnson on the other side with all of his intricate blitz schemes and coming in all different kinds of directions, it's going to be interesting to see how those three guys can hold up when they start bringing the pressure.
Well, I know Jim Fossil went in and opened this week with his offensive staff and said the number one thing before we put any plays in is protecting Kerry Collins in pass plays.
And we'll have a whistle and the penalty marker thrown, and the false start called against the Giants. I would have to say it's a stacked deck with the rookies and Jim Johnson on the other side here.
False start. Number 81 offense.
Amani Toomer, 5-yard penalty.
Second down.
The Eagles trying to shore up was one of the best defenses in the NFL. Last year they were first in sacks, third in takeaways, and look how they dropped so far, at least through 5 games.
That's a pretty big drop.
Second and 15 from the 40. They'll run it to Delvin Joyce, and Joyce getting to about the 37-yard line, a 3-yard pickup, and the crowd murmuring, wondering why the Giants don't throw more. Well, they don't have much time to throw.
Well, the thing about it is I think that over the first part of the season, Tiki Barber has been a guy who's probably been overused. So therefore, now you start going with a guy like Delvin Joyce to take some of the pressure off of Tiki Barber. The problem with that is Delvin Joyce is the same type of back that Tiki Barber is. I think if you want to make a change up, if Ron Dane is no longer that guy, Dorsey Levens brings a lot of different abilities to that position and could help this offense.
And a lot of experience. As you see, the Giants have run more than they passed, and not a good throw at all behind Amani Toomer, incomplete. And Kerry Collins now having to rush for obvious reasons, because you don't know whether he can count on those 3 guys up front.
Well, the other thing, to finish the point about Tiki Barber, I'm all for giving a guy a rest. And apparently Tiki this week has asked for some series off during the course of the game. But how many times do you get the football on the 45-yard line going in? That's when you need your superstars in the game. You don't take them out at that point.
Kerry Collins trying to keep up everyone's spirits as Jeff Feagles punting toward the end zone, and a great punt by Feagles inside the 5. He keeps on doing it. What a great pickup from the Seattle Seahawks.
Well, he's an amazing weapon. He had 10 punts inside the 20-yard line coming into this game. Already here in the first half, he's got 2 inside the 20.
Story almost even, but the game is not. 7-0 the Eagles lead. They have been backed up in their own territory almost the entire game. The Giants have had great field position, have not taken advantage of it. So let's see what the Eagles do, starting from their 4-yard line. Brian Westbrook is the tailback for Donovan McNabb, who's going to throw from the end zone, and the pass thrown underneath to the 10 to Westbrook. And that'll bring up second down. So it's been a kind of a bizarre game thus far, and Terrell Buckholder fumbling, and the Giants unable to take advantage of it. They botched this end around, and then pass interference, Ralph Brown on Todd Pinkston, and that set up a touchdown by Brian Westbrook. And then the tough injury as Rich Seibert suffered a fractured lower right leg and taken out of the game. So it's 7-0, 2nd and 4. With nearly 9 to go in the second, and there's Westbrook again trying to turn the corner. He's got the best speed of all the backs as a flag is thrown from the backfield. And it appears to be a holding penalty against Philadelphia.
Well, Westbrook really does have that additional gear, though, doesn't he? He's fun to watch. He's a little Marshall Faulk type of player with the ability to get outside, and really, without many big play weapons on this Philadelphia Eagles offense, he is greatly needed in that lineup.
Holding. Number 87, offense, after distance to the goal, remains second down.
See the hold there on Todd Pinkston is who they get the call on. And Chris, I think you talk about the running back by committee that we're seeing with the Eagles and have now for some time. And I always have wondered that if you're subbing guys the way that they are in this situation, 3 running backs, and basically you're not confident enough in any one guy to carry the load. And I think ultimately that hurts your football team.
2nd and 9 from the 5. Again, Westbrook off the right side, and he will pick up the first down. Stopped short of the 20-yard line, a gain of 14 yards. And now for another game break, here's JB in Los Angeles.
All right, Dick. Hey, Troy, take a look at Kurt Kittner in for the ineffective Doug Johnson starting today. Hooking up with Brian Finner, an 18-yard strike, and it's all tied in Atlanta at 14. Then Chris, look at the block that Ahman Green gets here. That springs him for a 21-yard run to pay dirt, the league-leading 10th touchdown of the season. And they have narrowed the gap, Green Bay 14-10. Back to Dick Stockton.
That was a pretty desperate team in Atlanta making the change at quarterback. So far, it looks like it's paying off for them.
Now, is that why you took him in the pool this week?
Hey, what pool?
On
first down, and the ball tipped off the hands of Brian Westbrook, who has 7 carries for 42 yards and now going out as a receiver. And that will call up 2nd and 10.
And Dick, that's the plays that they have just not been able to make. It was a good call. They got Brian Westbrook running what you call an angle route underneath into the void in that zone where the linebackers occupy, but they were out of there trying to get underneath the wide receivers. If Westbrook is able to make that play, or if Donovan's able to get the ball down on his pads, that was going to be a big game.
2nd and 10 with under 8 minutes remaining in the first half. 7-0 in favor of Philadelphia. And again, here is Westbrook, this time off the left side, and the Giants are not able to stop Brian Westbrook. One injury last week against Dallas. He gets 18 yards on this carry, and another first down as the Eagles move the chain starting from inside their 5.
I tell you what's really interesting is the Giants think that their best on defense is when other teams try and play a 2-back set against them. They said nobody can run the football against us in a 2-back set. But with John Ritchie in the game at fullback, they are going off tackle and playing some power football right now.
Well, and you see Todd Pinkston right there at the end of that run. He raises his arms to show the official, hey, I'm not holding on this play.
He will be on the next, though.
From the 37, pressure put on. McNabb going up top for Pinkston, and he is unable to make the grab. Covered downfield by Ralph Brown. As McNabb twice so far today has tried to go deep to Todd Pinkston, covered by the reserve cornerback Ralph Brown.
Well, again, they go after Ralph Brown, and that was the idea coming into this game. A lot of teams have done that, but Andy Reid told us that one of the things we have to do is we have to take shots down the field, but we have to start converting those. They didn't last week, and they haven't been able to do it this week either.
I'll tell you what, Troy, I think that's as much pass interference and really more pass interference than what he got called on the first one. He put his arm in there and hooked his shoulder. I'm surprised they didn't call that one.
2nd and 10. Maybe a wide receiver will get into the act. Who knows? Not on this play, as John Ritchie, the fullback, on a crossing pattern picks up a minimal gain. What a game we have. Just under 7 minutes to go, Troy, in the first half, and no wide receiver has caught a ball yet.
Well, that hasn't been a real big part of what they've been doing. Donovan McNabb was telling us that John Ritchie is a much bigger part of this passing game than people give him credit for. Yeah, he plays fullback. They don't throw him an absolute ton of balls, but yet in his pass protection, and then he is able to get out on some of those flat routes and do some of the things that we just saw.
In fact, the Eagles don't have a touchdown pass to a wide receiver yet this season. 3rd and 7 on the Philadelphia 40, and Kenny Holmes pointing to Trey Thomas, the Eagle left tackle.
False start. Number 72.
Guilty party.
5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
So it's 3rd and 12, and that's a far cry from 3rd and 7, Chris.
Yeah, it really is. When you get in 3rd and 7, the number of plays that you have in your playbook that you can pick up a first down, just a lot more than when you get in this situation now at 3rd and 12. Now protection's really become an issue. You can blitz and try and pick up the hot reads. Just a lot more things that Johnny Lynn can do as a defensive coordinator. They're going to play it safe.
3rd and 12. Back goes McNabb. Giants get a hold on him, and down he goes. Donovan McNabb is sacked by Michael Strahan, who now has over 100 sacks. The only Giant other than Lawrence Taylor to get 100 career sacks and a loss of 4 yards.
Well, you're going to see Jon Runyan is going to get a little bit of help from his inside. They get him there. Runyan gets into a spin, but because of the tenacity of Michael Strahan, he's still able to get back on it. Michael Strahan has sacked Donovan McNabb more than any other quarterback in the league.
And here's the punt by Bert Johnson, and it's going to take a Philadelphia roll as Brian Mitchell decided to get out of the way. And it turns out to be a big plus for Philadelphia. Man, 56 yards.
That's a big mistake by Brian Mitchell. Nobody around. He should have made this play. Even if he falls down, he saves his team about 30 yards.
Things still go bad for them. Well, Jim Fossil said this week, I'm going to take care of getting that offense in gear. 3 possessions, 3 punts, and the starting wide receivers have yet to catch a pass. Giants getting a taste of what the Eagles have had to go through, starting from their own 12, play action, and the pass caught by Toomer, so they get it to a wideout, and Amani Toomer with a first down up to the 25-yard line. And the slow starts that the Giants have faced, nothing new under Jim Fossil. And this year they're starting out 2-3, and you can see they've been hovering around the 500 mark. And of the teams that have gone 2-3 to start the year, only one has gone on to make the playoffs.
Well, there were such high expectations coming into this season. They really felt they could pick up where they left off last year. So far, that's not been the case, much to the frustration of these players.
Tiki Barber goes nowhere on first down. Man in the middle was Nate Wayne. 1 yard pickup for Tiki.
Boy, the one matchup that the Giants are really concerned about in this game is Corey Simon going up against David Deal. Corey Simon, just one of the big, strong, physical, quick, great defensive linemen in this game. And for a rookie, he is a major assignment. That time, Simon just blew his guy back in the backfield.
2nd and 9. Pressure on Collins. Goes underneath. Slipping away is Tiki Barber. Barber will have the first down close to the 40-yard line. So it was a miss by Nate Wayne, who seemed to have Barber in his grasp. He escaped and picks up 14 when all is said and done.
Well, the first thing you're noticing is that this team's getting in and out of the huddle, and they're starting to develop a little bit of rhythm. You watch Tiki Barber, he's going to leak over the ball, but the throw here is what allows him to escape. He puts it right on him on his inside shoulder. As a result, Nate Wayne, who was in position to make the play, overplays it and allows Tiki to escape.
Giants on their 40. Eagles showing blitz, and the handoff to Tiki Barber breaks a couple of tackles. What a run by Barber, and he gets the first down as he lunges into Eagle territory, picking up 11 tough yards in the process.
Well, Hollis Thomas came busting through, but David Deal, I think, got away with a hold right here. See if he gets a little hold and gets away with it, and it was just enough for Tiki Barber to shoot through there.
Barber now averaging nearly 5 yards a carry, and they're going to split him wide to the right. Empty backfield.
Okay.
And a 3-man rush by the Eagles. Barber's pass is caught by Shockey for a gain of a couple.
I had a chance to talk to Kerry Collins about the empty set and whether or not he liked it. He said last year was the first time that they went to an empty backfield, and he really didn't care for it much because he took the ball from underneath the center. Now they're doing it more from the shotgun formation. He said he's starting to get a little bit more accustomed to what they're doing within it, but everything has to be quick passes because typically when you get into that formation, teams will blitz one more guy than what you can pick up. That time it was Mark Semino, and that's why Kerry got rid of the ball when he did.
Picking up 3, 2nd and 7. Play action, and here come the Eagles. And Kerry Collins running and sliding and may have another first down. And it was Michael Lewis who put him down there in a flag, a late hit. Maybe the call.
I think it's going to be helmet to helmet on Kerry Collins. I think that'll be another 15 yards added on to the play, Dick.
Last week, Dan Klecko hit Collins in a helmet-to-helmet, and Kerry said it was like when Bill Romanowski hit him that way.
Well, when you slide in feet first, you're giving yourself up. Well, it's not helmet-to-helmet, but it looks like that's going to be the call as far as him coming in with an elbow on the quarterback.
I don't know about, I mean, once your momentum is going forward to make a tackle, and all of a sudden now you're expected to pull off the guy just because he hook slides at the last second. I mean, this isn't slow motion football. And that's really close. I just have some sympathy for the defensive players. I mean, when you see a quarterback running towards you.
There's no infraction on the play.
Good call. That's a good job by the officials, getting together, discussing it. Absolutely. That a way to go, guys. I'll tell you the one thing that we didn't talk about out of that play, Jeremy Shockey made a brilliant move down the field. I think it was against Carlos Emmons and was wide open, but the protection broke down so quickly that he wasn't able to get the ball there. You know, the Giants the last few weeks really have been in a position of not working the ball down the field because of protection issues, and now it's even worse because of the injury to Seibert.
Going to have a measurement to see whether Collins was successful. Missing by a matter of inches, Troy.
Yeah, and so far, Jeremy Shockey he's got 2 receptions in this ball game, but you go back to last year and what he was able to do against this Eagles defense. He had huge games against them. 16 receptions, a touchdown, about 16 yards per catch, and right now he's playing with some injuries. He's got an injured foot. It bothered him last week. It still bothered him. In fact, it's a stress fracture, and they're not certain that it's going to stay healthy for him, or at least allow him to make it through this entire season. It's kind of wait and see with each route that he runs.
He's joined by Marcellus Rivers. 3rd down and a matter of inches. And the handoff and the extra effort by Tiki Barber will be enough for the 1st down as we wind down to our 2-minute warning. The Eagles leading the Giants 7-0. Piece of halftime report. JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy will have scores and highlights from around the league, and the new and improved Fox Sports ticker has up to the second scores and stats. This drive started on the 12-yard line.
Yeah, and it's really sort of a typical Giants drive. You know, they've been great all season, especially the last 2 weeks between the 20s, but now they have to polish it off and get some points on the board. That's what they haven't been able to do.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons they haven't been able to do that is they've not run the ball very effectively once they've gotten down in there. And if you look at the teams that score touchdowns, they're typically teams that are running the ball well.
Tough team to run against. Number 1 against the rush in the NFL of the Philadelphia Eagles. And you talk about the offense not being what it was toward the end of last year. How much can you only say it's that offensive line? Is that enough to nullify anything?
I don't think it is. I think last year when you look at what they had, of course, Ike Hilliard wasn't playing in the game. He went down early in the season, and they pretty much knew who they needed to get the ball to. And Kerry Collins has said right now we're just struggling with how to use all these weapons that we have.
Giants have all 3 of their timeouts remaining. They're at the Eagle 39, again spreading it out. Play action, and Collins fires, and it's caught by Ike Hilliard, and he'll have another 1st down.
I think Ike Hilliard is one of the more overlooked guys on this team. He is so exceptional at running these kinds of routes. He's not a deep threat at all, but he's someone who runs the good intermediate routes. He's got good hands, good quickness, gets in and out of breaks well. Good job there knowing where the 1st down marker was and stretching out and picking it up.
Ike Hilliard in Philadelphia last year, of course, suffered the dislocated shoulder after the late hit by Brian Dawkins, ending his season. He says he holds no grudge against Brian Dawkins, who, of course, not playing today. 1st down at the 28. Out of the shotgun is Collins. Pass caught by Shockey. Carries a couple of Eagles, loses the ball. And the fumble at the 17. And the Eagles recover. So Shockey makes the catch and coughs it up. And the turnover bugaboo continues for the Giants.
I think what the Eagles are doing, they're coming on hot blitzes every time the Giants go into that empty backfield set, which is great for a guy like Jeremy Shockey because it puts him in one-on-one situations against the linebackers, but you put the ball on the ground again and again and again for this Giants offense, and they simply can't get out of it.
Nate Wayne.
Yeah, it's a great job by Nate Wayne stripping it out, and Jeremy Shockey is a type of player. He's a lot like Mark Bavaro in that way, that he's going to fight for each and every yard that he can get. That time, while he's struggling trying to get more yards, Nate Wayne comes in and just takes it away from him.
And Brandon Whiting recovers, giving the ball back to the Eagles. And the pressure and the pass is deflected by Michael Strahan. And the Giants running it in, and they blow the whistle. No signal given.
The pass was deflected. There's no question it was deflected. But I wonder if it went...
Well, if it's deflected, it should be an incompletion.
Well, that's what I thought, too. But I wonder if it's deflected off of his own player, possibly.
Well, then it's an illegal man. Illegal touch is what it would be.
Ruling on the field, this is an incomplete
No question.
forward pass. Second down.
no question. Good call.
Giants getting excited there, but once again, to go back to it, the turnover, how many chances do you get trying to cash in when you're in the other guy's territory?
Yeah, and I want to go back to a point that Troy was making about Shockey. You know, it's all well and good to try and fight for those additional yards, but there does come a point in time when even the coaches will tell you as a receiver, get down, because all they're trying to do is hold you up so other guys can come in and strip the football.
2nd and 10 from the 17. Give us to Brian Westbrook, cutting upfield to the 22. The Eagles, like the Giants, have all 3 timeouts remaining as Westbrook picks up 4.
You know, Dick, and when you talk about the Giants defense and what they've done over the last few ball games, it's not been a defense that is very aggressive. They don't go after the offense. Johnny Lynn is the defensive coordinator. He took over for John Fox, who's now the head coach with Carolina. But in this situation, you'd like to see the defense become a little bit more aggressive, start trying to force the issue a little bit. You're playing against an offense that's struggling, that has had mistakes of their own. Try to see if you can't get a turnover yourself and get the ball back to your offense's hands.
I mean, Westbrook is averaging 7 yards a carry, and McNabb 7 of 13 for 54, so he's not having a great game yet.
Yeah, and I really thought one of the big drives of the ball game was the last one for the Philadelphia Eagles, because they took the ball off their own 5-yard line, ended up having to punt the football, but it went all the way down to the Giants' 10-yard line. So what they did was they essentially shifted the field position, knowing that this Giants offense simply has been unable to go the distance and put any points on the board.
Well, and consider the fact of how the Dallas Cowboys a week ago were able to stymie this Eagles offense. They did it playing a lot of man-to-man coverage. They weren't threatened by their wide receivers, and they put a lot of pressure on Donovan McNabb. And so far, the Giants have not done either one. They've not played a lot of man-to-man, and they've not blitzed linebackers to get after Donovan.
Well, I think the big reason for that being is the fact that Will Peterson's out of this game. If he were in, I believe you'd see a lot more man coverage on the outside. They just don't want to put Ralph Brown in that situation.
I just don't think these receivers can get open against either one of these guys.
Giants call a timeout, hope to stop the Eagles here and get the ball back. And this pass intercepted. The Giants get it back. And it's Will Allen with the pick. So Will Allen, the other Will for the Giants at cornerback, picks it off as McNabb threw it right to him and the receiver James Thrash. A big break for the Giants.
Well, there's 2 problems with this right here. First of all, James Thrash is not going to threaten Will Allen. You see Will Allen sitting on the route, and then Donovan McNabb throws the ball behind him. And anytime you throw it behind on an out route, you open the door for the corner to come underneath. You have to put that out on the sideline.
Redemption for Jeremy Shockey, who coughed it up, and now the Giants get it back on the Eagle 29 with 1:23 remaining in the half. Here's Kerry Collins, and he'll go down. Nowhere to go with the pass. Started a run out of the pocket, and N.D. Kalu decks him, and a loss of 2.
Well, the protection was actually pretty good there. That was a coverage sack. The Eagles have taken no chances whatsoever down the field. Everybody was blanketed. They're using some 2-man underneath coverage. They've got guys deep, and basically they're saying we can get there with our pass rush with our front 4 guys, and you can't block us anyway.
Giants have 2 timeouts remaining. We have under 50 seconds on the clock. 2nd down and 13. And Collins getting some time, and the pass caught by Tim Carter. The Giants' 3rd wide receiver does not get out of bounds after picking up 11.
Well, you see Tim Carter, he's a guy that they've been wanting to get more involved in this passing game and in this offense. A year ago, he tore his Achilles. He missed the end of the season, and he's got tremendous speed, probably the fastest guy on this team. Great quickness and good hands. We saw the separation he was able to create there.
Giants calling the timeout. Their 2nd, leaving them with 1. Want to remind you, Game 2 of the World Series tonight at Yankee Stadium. And last night, the Florida Marlins got to David Wells, and they played little ball. Juan Pierre with a big game, and Bernie Williams with a home run for the Yankees. And the Marlins win it. And Urbina, the closer, and tonight, Game 2, Joe Buck, Tim McCarvey will be at the stadium, not that far from here. And it'll be Mark Redman on the mound for the Marlins and Andy Pettit for the Yankees. Yankees seem to lose every first game of every series. Pettit comes back and wins Game 2. We'll see if the script follows.
Certainly makes it more interesting with the Yankees having lost Game 1. This one gets really interesting
Don't
now.
tell that to Yankee fans. 3rd down down and 2, and they loft the ball, and it goes out of bounds. And that was a kind of an awkward way of throwing it away, Troy.
Well, it was. Tiki Barber had actually gotten behind the coverage. They do a little shifting, and it allows Tiki Barber to get down here as a slot, or excuse me, as a wide receiver, and then they've got a corner on him, but they let him go. But because of the pressure, Kerry Collins wasn't able to see it. He tried throwing it out there and just couldn't get enough on it.
Just totally blown coverage by the Eagles, and Kerry tried to just float one up off his back foot. Just plant your feet and throw one in there.
Brett Conway, the new kicker, 2 for 4 last week, attempting a 40-yard field goal here, and this kick is good. So Conway, where are the Giants on the scoreboard? Well, barely or whatever. They get 3 out of it and trail the Eagles 7-3 as they capitalize on the key interception by Will Allen.
This thing just barely did sneak through. I mean, that was, that's one as a kicker, you start leaning back there, go baby, go baby.
Well, Dick's point well taken compared to what's happened the last couple of weeks in their kicking game, and then he missed a couple last week's game. Hey, barely counts.
They're going to mark it a 39-yard field goal officially. And this is a team that said, well, we're going to solve all our special teams problems. And what happens? Ryan Keel is on the injured reserve. Mike Hollis on injured reserve. Matt Bryant, suffers a pulled hamstring. So that plan went to pot.
At least nobody's cut their leg with an axe and had to go to the hospital.
That's a good point. Here's Matt Bryant.
They got 3 points on the board, but you don't get that many plays in the game where the opposing defense blows a coverage like that. I mean, you've got somebody wide open in the end zone, and you don't make that play. To me, yes, 3 points, but that's still a blown opportunity.
Yeah. But, I mean, in Kerry's defense, he did have a little pressure in his face, Chris.
I hear you, but I don't know.
A ground ball hit, and it's picked up by Brian Westbrook in the waning seconds of this first half. 20-yard return for Westbrook with 17 ticks on the clock. As despite all of the problems, and the Giants have had a bunch of them today, Troy, trailing only 7-3 here.
Well, it's safe to say that it's been a pretty sloppy game for both sides, and maybe that is exactly why they're in the position that they're in right now, and the loser of this game is going to be at the bottom of the NFC East, but this is still a very critical game for both of these ball clubs.
Donovan McNabb, remember, started out 5 for 5. And is only 2 for his last 9, so he is going into the freezer in a big way. First down at the 40. Eagles still with a chance to get into field goal range, and this pass drilled past James Thrash. And 12 seconds on the clock, and second down coming up.
Well, Sean Williams had an opportunity right there to come down with an interception, just misplayed the ball. Might have given the ball back to the offense with a chance to try to get some more points before this half.
He actually came up to play the receiver and never really picked up where the ball was. He was breaking on the receiver, and the ball sort of flew right by him. But I'll say this, Andy Reid didn't lose his nerve with Donovan McNabb after he threw that interception. Comes right back, firing again.
Eagles, no touchdowns by their wide receivers on the year. No catches today. And there's McNabb falling down and risking another interception. Donovan McNabb very determined here to get rid of the ball as Michael Strahan, who has a sack today, putting the pressure on.
I tell you what, Strahan putting pressure on John Runyon, and you're going to watch, and Runyon just gets blown right back into Donovan McNabb. You see he's not able to even get his feet underneath him. He's going backwards the entire time. And with John Runyon, he's one of the better linemen for this team, a real solid player, but sure didn't look like it on that play.
It's just so difficult when you're playing Strahan because he has the ability with the speed to get around you, and then all of a sudden he just turns and comes right into you with a bull rush, and you find yourself on your backside.
Giants on a major prevent with 5 wide receivers going down, and McNabb loses the ball, and the Eagles recover. That could have been big-time disaster had the Giants recovered and run it in. Instead, the time has run out, and it was Michael Strahan who is playing an inspired first half for the Giants. And a big hit on McNabb, and that is the end of the first half here with the Giants trailing the Eagles 7-3. Stay tuned for the Visa Halftime Report with JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy right after these messages and a word from your local Fox station. 7-3, and right now let's go down to Pam Oliver.
Hey, Dick, cue up remarks from Andy Reid from last week because it was a pretty familiar refrain. He said offensively, Donovan McNabb and those receivers running too hot and cold. He said he is going to stay committed to running the ball since that is working. As for the Giants, I talked to Jim Fossil about the offense. I said, you know, what gives? He said, well, they're putting a lot of pressure on Carey. They're coming up high off the edges. It's up to us to protect the middle. He says also, we've got to come up with some big plays. Haven't seen that in a long time. Back to you.
Taking a look now at the halftime statistics, and the Giants now have the edge thanks to their passing yards, but the one turnover, and the turnover, the interception by Will Allen, resulting in a Giant score. It was a field goal with 22 seconds left in the half.
And I really think that Donovan McNabb took a huge shot at the end of that half. He looks like he's okay. We were kind of watching him warm up down there, but I mean, that was 2 or 3 plays in a row, and especially that last one, he really got ripped.
Giants will get the ball first as Akers hitting a squibber, and Brian Mitchell having trouble picking it up from the 5-yard line, and Mitchell is devoured by his former teammates inside the 15-yard line. Well, guys, you've heard what the coaches had to say about the offenses in the first half. Your reaction?
Well, I think that Andy's exactly right. I know another week that they're not able to get the ball to these wide receivers. Yet to have a catch today. He says we want to make some big plays. Greg Lewis is a young receiver that they think very much of, a real burner. I would think to see him more in this second half to maybe inject a little juice into this offense.
And really the reason the Giants can't get any big plays because they can't get this Eagles secondary out of the cover 2 and the 2 deep safeties way back.
Tiki Barber on first down, and a good gain, picking up about 9. Tiki Barber gaining 43 yards in the first half on 10 carries.
And when you have young players in the game and they have 3 rookies at both guard positions and the center position, the easiest thing to do is to tell them just block straight ahead. And actually, this Giants offensive line has done a pretty good job of that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they stay with that here.
2nd and 1, they stay with the run. And Tiki Barber is hit first by Carlos Emmons. And it looks to be no gain on the play. He might have lost a little.
And Chris, I agree with you that is what's easiest for these young offensive linemen to come off the ball and try to run block. But you know, really the strength of this defense has now become those interior guys with Corey Simon and Darwin Walker. And you're talking about trying to run right into the strength of that. That's asking a lot from these young linemen to try to move them out and create a hole.
Well, Barber didn't lose a yard. He actually gained a yard, and the Giants move the chains. First down, Tiki again, and bounces off one defender, Darwin Walker, with the pressure, and picks up 1 yard. And the Giants having trouble after that first play opening up holes.
Yeah, that was the 2 guys right there that were disruptive on the play, Darwin Walker and Corey Simon. And both of these guys have played exceptionally well this early in the season. And Darwin Walker taking on 2 guys right there, and then Corey Simon's going to slide underneath off the block. And because of the pressure of Darwin Walker, there was just nowhere for Tiki to run with the ball.
It wasn't a very good run by Tiki either on that one. He got ran to darkness.
2nd down and 10. And the pass caught by Rivers. Marcellus Rivers making the most of his emergence as the 2nd-string tight end with a 12-yard pickup to the 36 and another first down.
But I tell you, the reason that I believe that the Giants have to stay committed to this running game is it sets up the play action. Anytime they get in their spread formation, they try and just drop straight back with Kerry Collins. They're not getting anything done, but if they can establish something with the running game, go play action, then they can get some of these big play wide receivers into the act.
Nothing deep for Kerry, but his pass percentage, 13 of 18, isn't good. And here is Collins. He's going to be hit and go down back at the 27-yard line by Corey Simon. I tell you, the Eagle defensive tackles having a big 3rd quarter and a loss of 8.
And this has been one of the big matchups in this game has been Troy Vincent. He, for the most part, has been shadowing Amani Toomer. He has had some safety help. He's running a little bit of 2-man, but he's also been singled up on him. And Kerry Collins, when he does have time to throw the football, he's unable to find anybody that's open. And then when guys get open, it seems like he's getting pressure and unable to deliver the ball.
Toomer with only 1 catch so far in the game. And Kerry Collins under pressure. Remember, 3 rookies starting in front of him on the line. And coming out of the backfield, and Tiki Barber covered by the linebacker Mark Semino. What a big addition Semino has been to the Eagles, Chris, for those 2 draft picks.
Well, I tell you, it's a nice play by Semino. You end up in a one-on-one coverage against a back like Tiki Barber, and he was there. Yeah, Tiki dropped the ball. This guy's not a very big guy, 6 feet tall, and when he hits you, he actually feels like it's to his advantage because he gets underneath guys that are trying to come through, fullbacks and linemen trying to get underneath him. He said, "You can't get underneath me. I'm too small."
And the Eagle linebackers a lot quicker than they were a year ago with the addition of Nate Wayne and Mark Semino. 3rd and 17. Collins getting rid of it, and here's Barber. And Barber will be tackled, and the Giants will be some 13 yards short of the first down. And once again, Darwin Walker putting the pressure on, and Ike Reese tracking down an injured player.
Yeah, Darwin Walker now down on the ground, and boy, that'll be a big blow if they lose him. We were talking about it. He's been an exceptional player this season. In fact, Hollis Thomas had gone down for them a year ago, so Darwin Walker got his opportunity and has made the most of it, and that's why Hollis Thomas has not been a starter.
You know, Troy, when I'm watching Kerry Collins right now, and I know he's getting some pressure, and I understand that part of it, but you can also see that Kerry has lost complete faith in this offensive line. He doesn't think the protection is going to be there, and he's trying to get out.
And it looks like Walker fell on by Andy Kalu, fell over Walker, and he's still down.
Guest or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the NFL's consent is prohibited.
Fox NFL Sundays brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time.
Darwin Walker coming off being helped off, but he did walk off the field, and the Giants preparing to punt on 4th down. Jeff Feagles will kick, and Brian Westbrook will be back. And for one of the rare times today, the sun has come out full. We had some rain showers and mostly overcast today. High kick, good for hang time. Fair catch. And it goes out of bounds near the 30-yard line. Well, to stop a weapon that has no cure, you need a man who knows no limits. On October 28th, Kiefer Sutherland returns with a new season of 24, presented without commercial interruption by the next Ford F-150. That's the season premiere of 24, Tuesday, October 28th, right here on Fox.
That may be the best show on television. If you've never watched that show, take a moment, watch the premiere, you'll get hooked.
Donovan McNabb started 5 for 5, but look what he's done since then. He's got Deuce Staley in the backfield looking to throw on 1st down, being chased, and Staley drops the pass. And a flag is down. This time Keith Hamilton put pressure on McNabb from inside. And the penalty will be marked off against the Eagles.
You know, it's really been another tough day for Donovan McNabb. Going into that pass, his quarterback rating was 26. And in 3 of the 5 games thus far this season.
Ineligible lineman, number 63 downfield. Penalty is declined. Take the result of the play.
Second time Fraley's been called for that, Troy.
So in 3 of the 5 games now, his quarterback rating has been below 56. To understand how significant that is, in his 43 other starts for McNabb, he only had 2 quarterback ratings below 56 before this season.
Westbrook trying to go right. And a great play by Mike Barrow. And Dhani Jones shadowing Westbrook as well, throwing him for a 3-yard loss.
It's clearly an offensive football team that has been struggling for quite some time. They've really not put it together at any point during this season. They've had little spurts where they look like they're going to get something going, but invariably they begin to struggle once again, and they're not running the football particularly well today. And then when you combine that with a quarterback that's playing without confidence, it's very hard to try to get something going.
3rd down and 13 back on the 28-yard line. Giants trying to put pressure on McNabb, and this pass incomplete. Freddie Mitchell downfield And covering him was Ryan Clark, the Giants nickel back, forced into action in that position because of the injury to Will Peterson.
Dick, they go 4 verticals here, and there's just nowhere to throw the football. I mean, guys are just blanketed, and they're not giving any angles for Donovan to throw the ball. He's trying to work the 2 seams up the middle, and there's nowhere to throw it. You got Sean Williams, and it's not a pass that a quarterback can make, and that has happened time after time. They're just not creating separation with the wide receivers.
Dirk Johnson coming off his best punting game of the season, and here's Brian Mitchell looking to return against his former team, and will be stopped in his tracks at the 38-yard line. Didn't have much to say this week. Normally he does. Trying to let his play speak for him.
They said its off-road capabilities verged.
Here is Harry Collins on the slant, and the pass caught by Amani Toomer at the 45. Only Toomer's second catch of the day.
And really, the Giants are trying to throw the football into what I think is the most difficult of pass coverage. The cover two man. You can tell that the Eagles are just sort of daring them to try and throw the ball down the field. And if you're wondering why they're playing so much of the small ball, they're just taking away the deep stuff.
Here's Barber. And Barber picking up a couple short of the first down. And that will bring up 3rd down and short. The Giants have not scored a touchdown today. Did not score one last week against the Patriots. Last time that happened was a year ago against the Eagles in Philadelphia. As you look at what Collins has done distance-wise.
Look at that. They haven't even attempted a pass over 20 yards today. It's a product of a lack of protection and the coverage that the Eagles are playing.
They're not even showing long.
Now, and at some point, you got to at least try something.
Well, they got 2 tight ends on 3rd and 1, and they try the run, and Tiki Barber may have enough for the first down. Nate Wayne came in. And the Barber, and you talk about small ball. I mean, the Eagles are actually playing small ball too, Chris, with the exception of those 2 long pass attempts to Pinkston.
Yeah, they are, and Tiki Barber did pick up the first down there, but there are just great talents on this Giants team, and one of the unfortunate parts about the injuries to that offensive line is these receivers are basically a non-factor in the ball game right now.
First down at the Giant 49, and here's the play action. Collins is going to throw it away. He did not have Rivers open enough to try the pass.
Well, he had a chance at Amani Toomer on a square in, and that's really the weakness of this coverage that they're running. And it comes up, and you're going to see Amani Toomer take the inside, and there's really nobody there. And Kerry Collins had time there
I agree,
to make
Troy.
that throw, but he's not confident that he can just turn the ball loose without getting hit. I don't know if it's that he's not seeing it or if he's afraid that he's not going to have time, but that was a perfect example of a guy who could have made a play.
2nd and 10. 7-3 Philadelphia, and here is Collins, and he's got Marcellus Rivers on the screen pass, and Rivers with the good hands, upended but not before. He chalks up another Giant first down inside the 40, picking up 12.
And they're going to be asking themselves why they haven't gotten Marcellus Rivers more involved in this offense earlier. You know, of course, last week we talked about his production, and then here today he seems to be one of the few guys that has given them a little bit of spark. They come in with the screen, they get offensive linemen out in front of them and pick up a key first down.
And I think Chris Bober got away with a good hold on that one to make that screen so effective.
First down, Barber, and he's got some blocking in front, and Tiki Barber may have another first down, and Jeff Rail forced into action. The rookie with Rich Seibert out of there with a big block for the Giants. And they have another first down as we send it down to Pam Oliver.
Well, Dick, speaking of Giants left guard Rich Seibert, as you know, left the game in the first quarter. The diagnosis, a fracture to his lower leg. Well, Seibert has since been taken to the hospital by ambulance. He is now at the hospital for special surgery in Manhattan. He will have surgery either tonight or tomorrow to repair the damage.
Thank you, Pam. Tiki Barber, a heavy dose of Tiki today, and he is held on to the ball. Gets 5 yards on first down inside the 25.
I think it's the first time today that we've seen this offense with the Giants start to develop any kind of momentum or any kind of rhythm with what they're doing, play calling. And you know, that offensive line, we talk about how young they are, and with the rookies that are now playing, they may not be the most powerful group up front, but one thing they do is they run very well. And we've seen that with some of the pulling that we saw Jeff Rail on and then getting out on some of these screens.
2nd and 5, and the pass dropped to an open Amani Toomer. And boy, if you're Kerry Collins, and, you know, of course, you played the position to know that the pressure is coming on every play, and pass action's the best you can do.
Oh my gosh, they missed this. They got the blitz right here. They end up throwing the ball to the guy that he is uncovered. It should have been the perfect play, and Kerry Collins just flat out missed it. I mean, that was, I mean, you couldn't have dreamt up a better scenario than that for that play.
Well, it looked like Kerry Collins thought Amani Toomer was going to stay on the move to the sideline. He had to unload it quick, and Amani sat it down, but you're right. You can't miss on those opportunities when you get guys uncovered.
And that was the 5th drop pass by the Giants. 3rd and 5. Ball at the 23. And another penalty.
It's like a delay.
Delay of the game, yes, 5 yards will bring it back to the 28.
And that is, as a quarterback, as a former quarterback, I should say, that is really one of my pet peeves, that the quarterback is responsible.
Play game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
The quarterback is responsible for keeping his eye on the play clock, and you just cannot allow those kinds of penalties. And now you're looking at a 3rd and 10, and that's a very difficult down to convert on when they could have had a 3rd and 5.
And Troy, what happened was Kerry Collins was trying to decipher the blitz that they were showing for Philadelphia, and I think he was sort of slowly going through the cadence and just lost track of the play clock.
Giants have to get inside the Eagle 18 for the 1st down, and here's Collins, and Collins sees an open space. There's a penalty marker down. Kerry Collins diving out of bounds is hit, but there's a flag down on the opposite side of the field. Clinton Hart, the free safety, giving Kerry a shot as he goes out of bounds. No late hit there, but a flag on the other side.
And the foul, I believe, is going to be
defensive holding.
Defensive holding, and it looked like it was on Jeremy Shockey. It looked like the hold might have taken place on Jeremy Shockey.
Holding. Number 58. Defense. That's a 5-yard penalty. Will be enforced when the end of the run. 1st down.
I tell you what, though.
Reese.
I was really impressed with Kerry Collins on that play. He's a big guy. He saw the 1st down marker. He dove for it. He knew he was going to take a shot. That kind of play as an offensive player can really electrify your team.
An 11-yard pickup.
Yeah, Kerry Collins has never lacked for toughness.
He's taking every snap. Here is Tiki going outside. Tiki Barber is dragged down by Troy Vincent. And picking up 5 yards. And the Giants, who have not scored a touchdown in more than a game and a half, trying to knock on the door here and take the lead.
Well, this is the area where they've had some problems. Of course, they come with the running play on 1st down. They pick up big yardage, and so they're ahead of the chains as far as that goes. Now, with 2nd and medium, 2nd and short, the offense can really dictate what they're going to do in this situation.
Well, this is a tough defense to score upon in the red zone. This is the 11th play of the drive. From the 7-yard line, Barber. And Barber gets to the 5. Darwin Walker, who came back in the game. Team with Simon and the 2 tackles.
And I think one of the reasons, Dick, that they struggle when they start running the ball down in here in the red zone is the fact that if you see Tiki Barber as he hits that hole, you cannot stutter your feet when you're down here in this part of the field. You're going to see
Troy,
Tiki
here's
Barber.
the hole right there, and he misses it. He cuts the thing back.
Well, he not only misses it, but you got to hit it going 100 miles an hour. You can't go running up there and start stuttering your feet. You're never going to get any yards.
3rd down and 4 against the best red zone defense in the NFC. On the 6-yard line, Collins getting pressure, and Collins throwing it in the end zone. A flag is down, and Ike Hilliard covered by Troy Vincent, and that may go against the Eagles. Troy Vincent covering Ike Hilliard on an out in a scramble situation for Kerry Collins.
I tell you what, it's a great play by Ike Hilliard. Watch the basketball rebound position. As he gets down right here, he's just going to box Vincent out right there and now leave all this field to work with over here. Collins sees him, now he makes a play, and Vincent has no choice but to grab him or it's a touchdown. Great play by Ike Hilliard.
Ike Hilliard very tough, always going over the middle. This time being covered by Vincent, so it's 1st and goal for the Giants at the 1. They line up with 3 tight ends, and Jim Finn in the backfield. Play action. Here is Collins, touchdown. down Shockey, and Shockey, as if he's playing Australian rules football, decides to boot it into the crowd.
Now we just need those guys with the little flags to say it's good.
That's right.
That was classic. I've never seen that one.
Jeremy Shockey was very limited in his ability to practice this week. Did not get much work until Friday, but this is one of the things that he was able to work on in Friday's practice. Great play action. They lose Shockey. Everybody's thinking run. Easy touchdown.
Giants leading 9-7. For the first lead of the game, and Brett Conway adds the extra point. So with 5 minutes, 19 seconds remaining in the third quarter, the Giants lead the Eagles 10-7. Play action all alone, number 80. That wasn't the extra point, by the way.
On the road and stuck trying to get business email in all the wrong places? Get Verizon Wireless Email Access and your data will travel on America's most reliable wireless network.
Can you hear me now? Good.
For all your company's wireless needs, we mean business. Verizon Wireless. We never stop working for you.
I've made a lot of news on the baseball diamond, but if you want to find out about this diamond, you've got to go talk to your doctor.
Ready to try Viagra for the first time? See your doctor and find out if a free sample's right for you.
My doctor says it's right for me. That's why I stay with it. For more information, go to Viagra.com.
Mr. Goodwrench, who is this one and only GM expert? I gotta find this guy.
You're Mr. Goodwrench.
Yep.
Which means you use genuine GM parts.
Well, actually, we all do.
Now you're just trying to throw me. Mr. Goodwrench had over 1 million hours of GM training last year?
That's right.
Doesn't leave much time for Mrs. Goodwrench now, does it?
Find Mr. Goodwrench at over 7,000 GM dealerships nationwide.
If Mr. Goodwrench were a tool, what kind of tool would he be?
A wrench?
Oh, sorry. Miter saw is what we were looking for. Miter saw.
Fox Tomorrow, a real American cowboy with a fake American fortune, is taking the women of Europe for a ride.
He's worth about $80 million.
Would Fox lie to innocent foreign women who've never heard of Joe Millionaire? Oui.
He's rich.
The next Joe Millionaire, an international affair, at 8/7 Central tomorrow on Fox.
Giants leading 10-7. Their first TD in the last 26 possessions. Jeremy Shockey with his second reception of the year for pay dirt. 5:19 to go, and Brett Conway will be kicking off deep to Brian Westbrook. Westbrook turned into a very valuable and versatile player for the Eagles with a pretty good 25-yard return. Timeout. Donovan McNabb back on the field to go to work when we come back.
If on one hand you have half the carbs of Bud Light, and on the other the gold medal winner of the World Beer Cup, then you have a Miller Lite in each hand. Lucky you. Miller Lite. Great taste, less filling.
Mr. Anderson, welcome back.
He's going to have the power to destroy this world.
And if I can't stop him, I'm not so bad once you get to know me.
The Matrix Revolutions, rated R, starts Wednesday, November 5th.
Sometimes you need a little help staying in the game. Ask your doctor about new Levitra. But once you get in the zone, it's good. Ask your doctor if a new choice is right for you. Ask about new Levitra.
This inning brought to you by Wendy's. Here's the pitch, and it's right down the juicy part of the plate.
Juicy.
Boy, that one had a lot of mustard on it.
I like mustard.
And he lines it, Bob. This could be a double.
Double?
Oh, I think he's going for a triple.
Triple?
They have him in a pickle.
That's it, kids. We're going to Wendy's.
Yay! Wendy's has a better way to satisfy those late-night cravings. We make every classic single and double fresh right when you order it.
And here's the throw.
Oh, caught stealing.
Wendy's, it's better here.
Fox NFL Sundays, brought to you by by Southwest Airlines. Friendly nonstop service all across the country. Southwest Airlines, a symbol of freedom. By Sprint, proudly offering picture mail and PCS Vision picture phones. By Wendy's new home-style chicken strips, another reason it's better here. And by Chevy, the cars you depend on, the cars that last. We'll be there.
Back here at Giant Stadium, Kerry Collins ends a long drought. First scoring pass in the last 147 attempts. Maybe you need one to get you started, but the Eagles coming right back with 5:12 to go in the third. And the handoff to Deuce Staley. And Staley, with his first carry of the game, picks up 5 yards to their 40.
I tell you, I would stay with this running game if I'm the Philadelphia Eagles. Based on the last 3 games that I've watched of the Eagles, they're a running team. They run it pretty well. They've got a big offensive line. They have good running backs, and they are just not throwing the ball very effectively at all right now.
Boy, Andy Reid has always been a passing guy, though, hasn't he? Forced to go to the run. Here is Deuce Staley again, fighting for first down yardage and very close. Omar Stoudemire was right there. For a game break, time to go out to Los Angeles and James Brown.
Hey, Dick, Green Bay trying to come back at a strong opening drive in the second half. Brett Favre hooking up with William Henderson, culminating a 6-play, 71-yard drive. They have now narrowed the gap with St. Louis to 4. That back to Dick Stockton.
All right, a shootout going on between the Packers and the Rams. Meanwhile, it'll be third down and less than 1 for the Eagles on their 44. Freddie Mitchell in motion, quarterback sneak, not sure.
I don't think he got it. Both officials are coming in at different angles. It depends on which one is going to get the spot. One looks like he may have made the first down, where the other one came running in from the other side of the field. It looks like the spot will be short.
Well, they did that twice last week against the Cowboys, a quarterback sneak. I think it's a little bit tough to ask McNabb to sneak that thing and really drive off of his bad leg.
I'm not so sure in this situation that Andy Reid wouldn't elect to go for it on 4th down if they in fact don't make it here.
And they appear to be sure we may have a measurement.
Looks like they even lost a little bit on that play.
Well, they just got no movement up inside.
Michael Strahan got in underneath.
I saw Michael Strahan last week make the play on a quarterback sneak, and he comes back and does it again. I mean, this guy, not only is he physically talented, he's a smart guy. He watched the film. He saw in short yardage situations they like to go to the sneak. He just came down and made a great play. They definitely lost yardage on that play.
Well, they want to see how much they need just in case Andy Reid says, I'm going to try it on 4th down. What exactly do I need? And they need about the length of the football.
Well, and they're going to punt, and that is the right thing to do. But sometimes as a coach, you sit there and you say, we're an offense that's struggling. I got to do something to try to ignite this team. And he does the right thing, however, and decides that, hey, I got to play percentages and play field position and pin the ball back down in there and hope our defense can hold them.
It's like playing hit and run. If you're a baseball team and you're trying to manufacture runs, Andy Reid's trying to manufacture some offense here.
Well, yeah, but you know he was thinking about it. You know he wanted to go for it.
You know he'd like to throw more than run, but he can't. Dirk Johnson kicking, and Brian Mitchell back deep for the Giants. Not a good one.
Should have gone for it.
And the bounce, Philadelphia bounce again. The Eagles getting another big advantage, and it'll be down inside the 10-yard line. Still rolling, as a matter of fact.
Wow.
Maybe it'll go down to the 1.
Well, they were fortunate that they got a good bounce, because if that ball had bounced sideways or backwards compared to where it hit on the ground, that was going to be a tremendous break for the Giants.
Everybody in the country to drive the all-new Chevy Malibu, we think you'd agree. It's just about perfect.
Thank you guys for coming out. Oh, Jamie, why don't you tell us what's new in IT? Try to keep it short.
Oh, well, we just implemented DFS and a new SAN. And also we enabled shadow copy for shared folders on our file servers. It enables users to get back lost documents on their own without calling IT. And it'll save us hundreds of thousands of dollars, which...
It'll do what?
With new Windows Server 2003, you can do more with less.
Automated system recovery.
Access NFL.com to vote for your favorite NFL All-Stars. The Pro Bowl ballot is online exclusively at NFL.com.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Microsoft. Your potential, our passion.
Halloween still a couple of weeks away. Meanwhile, the Giants starting from their 7-yard line, and Dorsey Levens, who has been inactive 3 of 5 games this year, has not played it down, is in the lineup right now for the Giants. And the pass out of the backfield to Jim Finn, the fullback, and he is about 2 yards shy of the first down.
That was a pick play all the way. That time Ike Hilliard got away with one. He just picked the defender that was coming out there to cover him and got away with it. The funny part, though, was as soon as Ike comes out here and gets that pick, he turns around. Now he starts looking for some official to throw a flag because he knew what he was doing, and he got away with it. Big pickup.
So Nate Wayne slow getting up for the Eagles with 3:05 to go. You kind of knew that despite the fact that these teams weren't playing for the lead, but maybe playing for survival, at least to get back in the NFC East, that you were going to see a high-intensity game today, and we really had on the low-scoring, low-offense side of things.
Yeah, it's really just typical of these two teams. You know, it's the same game we had, the same score, as a matter of fact, 10-7 last year. And there's our punter, Jeremy Shockey.
What about the form, Chris?
You know, only punters and dancers can fully extend their leg without their hamstring exploding. Watch this by Figures. Boop, see, nice and straight. Now here's what an ordinary human being does when they try and punt. That hamstring says, you better bend soon, right there. Well, he got it pretty good. Put it up about 20 rows. Never seen Troy kick one that far.
Well, yeah, my form would have looked just like that, as tight as my hamstrings are. I'm sure our friend Shockey will be receiving a letter from the NFL this week.
Well, it's been so long since the Giants scored a touchdown that, you know, in some ways you can't blame them for getting a little elated or over-elated as a result of that. Wayne is shaken up. Want to remind you, Redskins Bills for the viewers in New York to see that game, plus other contests. But Dorsey Levens in the game, and you know, here's a guy that spent 8 years with the Packers and last year with the Philadelphia Eagles, has not had a chance, owns a Super Bowl ring. Pretty talented player in his day.
Yeah, and I think Andy Reid would actually have liked to have still had him on his team. You know, he was with the Eagles last year, and it just became a numbers thing, so they had to let him go, and he signed with the Giants. And I think most people in the organization felt that Dorsey Levens would be a major contributor to this team this season. But as you mentioned, this is the first time that he's gotten a chance to play with the Giants.
And a pretty good receiver out of the backfield. Ike Reese, by the way, will replace Wayne. And the handoff to Dorsey Levens. And Levens close to the first down. Darwin Walker in on the play. So here's Levens not getting in any game, and finally his first carry to the cheers.
Well, I think there's a reason why he's in this game, though, because of the protection problems up front against those big stud defensive tackles, Darwin Walker and Corey Simon. You bring in Levens, he's a bigger guy, about 230 pounds. And what they want to do is use their backs now to try and shore up the protection inside. They're doing okay at the tackle position, but they're really getting beat up on the inside.
Well, that, and he brings a little bit more of a burst and a little stronger back trying to run inside those tackles.
3rd and 1 with 2 tight ends, and the give is to Levens, and the first down for Dorsey Levens and the Giants. And for another game break, let's go back out to L.A. and James Brown.
Hey, Dick, Troy's old squad, Dallas just doing it up. Pitch to Troy Hambrick. He takes it across 35-7 Dallas. And then Mark Bulger back looking, hooks up with Dane Looker. He takes it tight ropes along the sidelines there for the score. 28-17 Rams over the Packers. Back to Dick, Troy, Chris, and Pam.
I know a lot of people thought that Dallas Lions game would be a trap game for Dallas, but I don't think you're going to get those with a coach like Bill Parcells' team.
Jim Finn with a minimal gain. Bobby Taylor on the stop, and I know the Cowboys' schedule is going to get a little tougher, but meanwhile they're getting a lot of margin going for them at 5-1.
Well, that's the point, because now you're talking about, at best, one of these teams come out of here at 3-3, the other one come out of here at 2-4, and the Cowboys just keep on winning, so the gap is going to remain the same at best for either one of these teams.
The good thing is that each of these teams still get to play Dallas again. Yes, Dallas has beaten each of these teams once, but because they're divisional games, they'll get a chance again, and I don't believe that the loser of this game is out of it by any means.
I agree with you. 2nd and 7, and Levin's with a couple of yards. And next week, the Cowboys have to go against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Tampa, so it's a tight race. And let's not forget the Redskins. Jimmy Johnson picks the Redskins to eventually be the best team in the NFC East, and they still have a game against the Buffalo Bills that the viewers in the New York audience will see. They're the standings. So the winner of this game will still be just 2 games down in the loss column. Not bad.
Well, there were a number of years where the NFC was down pretty much, but I think it's finally starting to develop some pretty good teams. This is a division that is going to go down to the wire to see who's going to win it. Dallas is going to lose several games between now and the end of the season.
Final seconds of this quarter, and they just got it done as the play clock had 1 second left. That is the end of the 3rd quarter here at Giants Stadium. The Giants 10, Eagles 7. And the NFL on Fox will continue after a word from your local Fox station.
You're watching the NFL on Fox.
I'm here with my man, Tolly, and we're watching NFL on Fox.
On Fox 29.
I was really surprised at how fast this camera is. I mean, this thing rocks.
It's also remarkably comfortable.
Well, yeah, I mean, but don't you get off on the power of it?
I like the overall smoothness.
Tell me you haven't thought about burning rubber once or twice.
That wouldn't go over very well in the courthouse parking lot.
Are you a lawyer?
A judge. By the way, you look familiar.
With 17 models to choose from, which Toyota is perfect for you?
Which candidate for mayor is currently being sued for embezzlement? Republican Sam Katz. Katz is accused of misleading, deceiving, and defrauding his partners in a scheme to embezzle hundreds of thousands of dollars, a deal that's triggered a federal investigation. Which candidate is fighting to keep court records in his embezzlement case sealed? Sam Katz. Which candidate's right-hand man was convicted in this scheme and now faces prison? Sam Katz. So instead of attacking, shouldn't Katz be explaining?
All clear, guys.
8.9 inches of running ground clearance. Just one of the many reasons why the Jeep Liberty is so capable. Right now, get 0% financing or a $1,500 cash allowance, plus our 770 powertrain limited warranty. If it's not trail rated, it's not a Jeep 4x4. The best values in America just got better.
We begin the 4th quarter. Kerry Collins with a touchdown pass. Good percentage. Tiki Barber. Good versatile, 113 total yards. And Michael Strahan keying the Giant defense. 3rd and 3 for the Giants. And a late flag thrown. Usually that indicates a false start penalty.
That's what it was.
False start. Number 66, offense, 5-yard penalty, remains 3rd down.
And Dick, how many times have we seen this happen today when they've been in manageable 3rd down situations only to have a false start or a penalty that then gets them back into 3rd and long, and that's just not winning football.
Especially after a break, you know, it's the start of the 4th quarter.
Well, and it's such a big play in the game. If they can convert this 1st down and hold the ball, it really puts them in a great position.
Giants owning the ball in that 3rd quarter, but they need 8 yards to continue possession, and the ball tipped away, intended for Shockey, and it was Bobby Taylor returning to action. He suffered the strained foot in the opening game against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and did the Eagles miss him?
I think when you look at Jeremy Shockey, you're always asking yourself, how do you defend this guy? Man to man, there's so many mismatches that he creates. Do you put a safety on him? Do you put a corner on him? or do you know, a linebacker, but Bobby Taylor is really the perfect player to be guarding Jeremy Shockey because he's a physical corner and he can cover him pretty well.
Jeff Feagles will kick from inside the 10. Ryan Westbrook is looking for the return. Good kick by Feagles. Westbrook back to the 30. And the Giant coverage getting the job done. Westbrook is tackled after a 5-yard return to the 36-yard line. All right, Donovan McNabb now, in the spotlight now with his team trailing 10-7.
Yeah, and I think that Andy Reid has to ask himself, what exactly do we have to do in order to inject a little life into this team and get things going? Does that mean making a move with Donovan McNabb? I don't know, but they've got to be asking themselves that question.
And I think that this drive right here may well decide that. I'm not so sure if they go 3 and out or have some problems here that Andy Reid couldn't even make a move within this game. You know, is it all McNabb's fault? It certainly is not. But sometimes this team has to have a reason to wake up, and we just haven't seen it. This passing game has been really, really inept again today.
For Philadelphia.
And a holding penalty called against Quinton Michael, and the penalty will send the Eagles back to their 21-yard line. There is A.J. Feely, who had a great finish, 4-1 as a starter last season, and started against the Giants in the final weekend after Coy Detmer got hurt, relieving Donovan McNabb, who suffered the broken ankle and played on it. First down, Brian Westbrook. Trying to turn the corner with his speed and picking up 6.
Well, and to go back to what we were talking about, just remember that Donovan McNabb did rest his thumb some this week in practice, and as a result of that, Coy Detmer got a chance to get some reps with the first team. So if a change was made, it wouldn't be like Coy Detmer was just coming off the bench without having had any recent work.
And remember what Detmer did when he came in for McNabb last year against San Francisco before he got hurt. He was fantastic. That offense was flying up and down the field.
2nd and 5. Westbrook hit behind the line of scrimmage and dives forward. Will lose a couple on the play, and was Michael Strahan having his best game of the season today against the Eagles.
Yeah, and the blocking up front has nothing to do with Donovan McNabb here. You're trying to run the football and you lose yardage because of Michael Strahan, and he's just getting penetration into your backfield, and he has no chance. Westbrook has absolutely no chance. He beats Runyon underneath to the inside, and so these other players have to be able to step up as well.
3rd and 7, and the Giant crowd becoming alive again. McNabb with the short drop, and the slant pass is dropped.
There you go.
By James Thrash, bringing up 4th down.
Maybe they need to reshuffle the deck at wide receiver instead of quarterback. I mean,
not a bad idea.
You know, Troy, you hit on something earlier in the game that was just a great point, because when 6 drop passes today. When I watched that Dallas game, it was so apparent to me they had zero respect for these wide receivers. I was talking to Mike Quick, a former Eagles receiver, before the game, and I said, I don't know about you, but I was getting mad just watching it.
Hey, the Eagles receivers said they've been doing the job coming into this one. And they were shut out as far as touchdowns.
Not last week, they weren't.
Dirk Johnson with the punt to Brian Mitchell from the 35. Still looking to have a big return, something he hasn't been able to do all year. And with 13:27 to go, the Giants will get the ball back on the 36.
SRX Performance Utility. Breakthrough.
I was working in the garage and I smelled smoke. I quickly determined it was a grease fire. I knew grease fires were different from other type blazes, but I wasn't sure the best way how to handle such a conflagration. So I asked myself, what would Jared do?
I'd get a veggie delight on wheat, or maybe with the honey oat bread. Sorry, what was your question again?
The Veggie Delight from Subway. Eat.
It's not my yard.
So if
If you really want tickets to the game, just use your Visa. It's the card you know they'll take everywhere you want to be. Visa. Hey, you! Proud sponsor of the NFL.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Cadillac. Bold vehicles define convention. By Subway. Good so you don't always have to be. Subway, eat fresh. By Visa. If you love the NFL, it's everywhere you want to be. And by Viagra. Ask your doctor if Viagra is right for you.
We're back here across the river to Giants Stadium, where the Giants lead 10-7 early here in the fourth quarter. There's James Thrash, and the Eagles wide receivers have not made a catch today. In fact, Andy Kalu, who returned a touchdown against Dallas last week, has more TD catches than the Eagles wide receivers this year. And a big burst up the middle by Dorsey Levens. And I'm sure the Giants fans are saying, where has he been? And a huge game of 17.
One of the few times we've seen an Eagles blitz today. They're going to come right up the middle with Mark Semino. And what happens anytime you bring a blitz up the middle, if you can pop a little crease, there's a lot of room to run. Decent job again by the guys up front. I really believe the thing they're doing best is just coming off and blocking.
Giants tempo on the handoff. Here's Dorsey Levens inside the 40, getting about 8 yards. Carlos Emmons making the stop. Tiki Barber getting a breather, but he is the first 50-yard rusher allowed by the Eagles this year, and Dorsey Levens getting it done.
Well, and you think Dorsey Levens, and you think power, and you don't think he's got the moves like what Tiki Barber had, but he's running parallel to the line there. He's able to plant his foot, still get north and south, and create positive yards. 2nd and 2 is hit behind the line, gets the first down. Dorsey Levens putting on an exhibition. First down of the 34. Well, and this is a big drive for this New York offense. They're up 3 points right now with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And if they're able to take this thing down and get a touchdown and go up by 10, Philadelphia offensively has shown nothing that they're going to be able to go down and match it and get back in this game.
I tell you, Philadelphia is starting to blitz more than they have the entire game. They've been playing safe in the secondary, and now Jim Johnson's starting to crank this thing up.
Nate Wayne back in for the Eagles. On first down, here is Collins backed up, and the pass is incomplete to Dorsey Levens, and good coverage by Wayne.
And one thing you're seeing from the Giants, as we saw the play clock on that last play, is Jim Fossil's getting the plays in quickly to Kerry Collins, and they're getting the play called in the huddle, and they're getting up to the line. And I really believe that in order to be effective offensively, you got to create tempo. And to do that, you've got to get in and out of the huddle and start rattling off plays, because guys then start to feel a little momentum coming off the ball, particularly those guys up front.
Giants with 2 tight ends, Shockey and Vasanti Shanko, the rookie. And the give is to Levens cutting upfield, and Levens picking up some yardage, getting to the 30, a 4-yard pickup.
I'll tell you, that time Jeff Rail, who came in for Rich Seibert, looked like he was just running in outer space out there. He pulls out and around, and I don't know if it's just a matter of the back cutting up too soon, but Rail out there, you're talking about just running to daylight. He was looking for daylight and didn't even hit anybody.
Of course, right now, 3rd down, they're on the 30-yard line. Brett Conway, their place kicker, he doesn't have a real strong leg, as we've already seen in this game. They've got to pick up some more yards here, I believe, in order to give him an opportunity.
3rd and 6 from the 30.
The blitz look.
And they're not going to get it off in time, and a delay of the game penalty once again called against the Giants. So forget about the ball being at the 30 unless they call timeout before the snap.
I think they got the timeout called. No?
Offense, 5-yard penalty remains 3rd down.
So now you get the delay of game penalty and you're called for the timeout, unless they give, I guess they give him back the timeout is what it's looking. But again, that's just, you can talk about whether or not the plays are coming in on time, but the quarterback has got to keep his eye on the play clock. You cannot allow this to happen, especially when you're down threatening to get points.
So that was a blitz look all the way. I mean, even pre-snap, before they started to move, they should have known early in that sequence what was going on.
Here's another blitz. It's picked up. Collins' pass is caught by Amani Toomer, and Amani Toomer has the first down. The Giants picking up the blitz. They send everybody. Joey Vincent makes the tackle, and the Giants get 14.
Well, give the offensive linemen credit. They do a good job of being solid up front. They create a pocket right there for Kerry Collins. He's able to slide, and Amani Toomer uses his big body to shield the corner. and make the big play.
And it really helps having Dorsey Levens in there to block. That bigger body is making a difference in protection.
Levens averaging nearly 6 yards a carry. That matched the Giants' longest pass play of the game. Here is Levens finding his way inside. Gets a couple of yards. MD Kalu was there after a pickup of about 3.5.
And what a big third down conversion that was. I mean, you get the delay of game penalty, you back yourself up, no question then you're definitely out of field goal range for Conway, and you come right back and you pick up the first down to Amani Toomer, throw the ball versus the blitz. Just a real key third down pickup on that play.
But the difference between a field goal and a touchdown on this drive is absolutely huge. You don't play this one for 3.
Dorsey Levens, 36 yards, 5 carries on this drive. 2nd and 7 on the Eagle 18. They're blitzing again, and here going around the outside is Levens, and Levens getting the first down and out of bounds at the 6. Dorsey Levens, who had not played a game, has become a force here in the 4th quarter against these Eagles. Picks up 12 more yards and has 56 for the game.
When you get blitzes inside and you can seal this side over here, there just is nobody there. There's no pursuit. There's nobody that can catch your back going out on the corner. And Dorsey Levens is really making a big difference in this game.
Interesting, 2 of the guys that have been big factors in this game now, Dorsey Levens, of course Marcellus Rivers earlier, were afterthoughts just 2 weeks ago.
1st and goal at the 6. Collins on the design rollout, giving ground and throws to the back of the end zone, and it's incomplete. Ike Hilliard bobbling the ball and did not stay in bounds, but he had beaten the Eagles' defensive secondary.
Well, yeah, Ike Hilliard got him behind the coverage, and if Kerry Collins had spotted him a little bit earlier, he would have been able to get it to him for a touchdown. Right here, there's nobody really in the area. Kerry spots him late. Actually does a pretty good job giving him an opportunity, and what great effort by Ike Hilliard trying to make the play and keep his feet in bounds. You see him bobble here, but had a chance if maybe Kerry Collins had seen him a little sooner.
10th play of the drive for the Giants. Here is Levens, and Levens will be ganged up at the 5 by Brandon Whiting. Loose ball, but the whistle had blown down by contact. Under 8.5 to play, 4th quarter. Giants have dominated the ball control story here in this 2nd half, and in the rushing yards, which is unusual against the team that was number 1 in that department coming in.
There's no question the Eagles have done a great job this season in run defense, but they've given up some big chunks on this drive.
Against a makeshift offensive line.
3rd and goal at the 5. A lot of shifting going on by the Giants.
Well, they're back into the empty set. Look for something quick.
Look for the blitz, too.
Here comes the blitz from the right side, and Collins loses the ball. Collins loses it, and the Eagles say they have it, and they do. It was Mark Simoneau who forced the fumble, and they went with the empty backfield. They all came on the defensive side, and the Giants, it's a big opportunity thanks to the Eagles' staunch defense.
Troy, every single time they've gone into this empty backfield, they blitzed Mark Simoneau on an audible blitz, and that time he got there.
Special edition DVD. Unleash the beast. Unleash the excitement. Unleash the groundbreaking special effects. Just push play and you'll be blown away. Hulk. Buy it October 28th.
Our herbs and spices come from all over the world. But to try them, you don't have to go far at all. Introducing the Savory Mustard Fire Grilled Chicken Baguette from Burger King. It gets its flavor from fire grilling, not from fat. Come on over. The fire's ready.
SRX Performance Utility. Breakthrough.
Kerry Collins, 44 fumbles since 2000, third most in the NFL. And the Giants have fumbled twice deep in enemy territory. 1st and 10 from the 10-yard line, and Westbrook driving up the middle, picking up about 3 yards.
Every empty set now, they're bringing Semino. So what the Giants are doing, they're sliding their line this way, but David Deal, the guard right there, blows it. He does not have that guy. He has the next gap outside, and by letting Semino come through, a big turnaround in this game.
Well, but one of the reasons why Kerry Collins is hanging on to the ball is because they're shorter routes and nobody's able to get open, and that's the problem with empty set. The defense knows they're going to be quick routes.
2nd down and 7. Westbrook in motion to the right, and the pass to the left to Todd Pinkston. And the Eagles finally hit a wide receiver with a catch, 6 yards with Brown on the coverage. So against Ralph Brown, who they were going to pick on, they finally complete a pass to a wideout.
Yeah, they finally get a ball to a wideout. And Chris, to go back to what you were saying, you're right. Deal should have been able to pick that up. Kerry Collins is unable to find anybody. There's still no excuse to putting the ball on the ground. When you're down there as a quarterback, there's going to be people flying around. You're going to be getting hit, and it's happened too many times with Kerry Collins. And now, instead of at least the Eagles needing a touchdown, now they just need a field goal in order to tie this game up.
Darrell Buckhalter replacing Westbrook, who goes to the sidelines. 3rd and 1 for the Eagles, and here's Buckhalter bursting up the middle, and a first down to the 30-yard line. 11 yards for Buckhalter, and the Eagles, with 6 minutes and 17 seconds left, as you mentioned, needing a field goal to tie and a touchdown to win.
I'll tell you what, for my money, I'll take this guy right here, John Welborn. Anytime you need a big pickup, that's the guy that I want to run the ball right over. I think he's their best offensive lineman. Consistently, he gets the job done better than anybody else up front.
And Westbrook checking back in after Buckhalter did the job. First down. They spread it out, and there is Westbrook, and down he goes after diving forward, nearly getting back to the line of scrimmage. Dhani Jones got a hand on him first.
You know, pretty good job there by Johnny Lynn, the defensive coordinator, calling this. You're going to see Sean Williams right here dropping in. He's going to be the 8th guy, and he fills the gap right there, which allows Dhani Jones to come in from the backside, and just the perfect call for what Philadelphia was trying to do running the ball.
But when you see those safeties dropping down, you have to be able to throw the football. I mean, that's just what the NFL is right now. They're dropping the safeties in, and the Eagles can't make them pay for it with the pass.
And it's been forever since the Eagles have been in Giant territory, since early in the first. 2nd down and 11. They're at their own 29, and on the slant, and the pass knocked away, incomplete. Thrash was hit hard by Will Allen as the ball got to him.
And that was a good play by Will Allen, but not necessarily a play that James Thrash should not have been able to make. I mean, the ball's on his back shoulder. He's running the slant. You're going to see it's going to hit him in the hands. He's got an opportunity there to make the play. Now, granted, Will Allen comes in and puts a hit on him, but when you're in these situations, you got to make the play. We've already seen James Thrash drop another key play earlier in the game.
One of these teams will get back in the race. The loser won't be out of it, but they'll have their work cut out for them. As 2 and 3 teams battle down the stretch at 5:03 to go. 3rd down and 11. Giants by 3. Another big 3rd down play. And Donovan McNabb looking to run it. He loses the ball. Fumble. Eagles recover, but they'll need about 12 yards for the first down. What a hit by Mike Barrow, the Giant middle linebacker.
And it looked like they were trying to set up a screen to this side, but Strahan disrupted the whole thing. Goes with an inside release against Runyon. And now all of a sudden he's trying to find the screen out to the right. But Strahan is right there, forces McNabb to pull the ball down. And another big hit on him to free up that ball.
Michael Strahan has just been phenomenal today again.
Here's Dirk Johnson to kick it away. And Brian Mitchell, the former Eagle, how much you think he wants it today? Trying to return. Mitchell stumbles beyond the 30-yard line. So 4:13 remain in the 4th quarter of this grueling, tense battle and the Giants are up by 3.
With a 140 horsepower engine and responsive handling, we put the fun back into the compact car, the Saturn Ion. Get a new 2004 Saturn Ion 2 or Ion 3 with 0% APR financing and $1,000 towards your down payment. Excludes Ion 1. For restrictions, see your retailer.
Taxi! Taxi!
8.
5.
2.
23.
Hello, people you have to hurt.
Don't miss TV's biggest event.
Show me what you got.
The season finale Nip Tuck, this week only on FX. Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Saturn, makers of the highly adaptable View, stylish midsize L300, and the fun-to-drive Ion.
Take a look at those numbers, and it may look like Donovan McNabb is not getting the job done, but his receivers have been non-existent today, Troy.
It's a little bit of everything, Dick. I mean, Donovan hasn't been great, but the receivers haven't either, and the offensive line, quite frankly, haven't done their job.
From the 32, Dorsey Levens, after not playing at all in the first 5 games, has been a big workhorse as we send it back down to Pam Olive.
And, Dick, it's very apparent there are very few vocal leaders on the Eagles offense. There's no get-in-your-face guy, somebody who's really going to bark at you or go around trying to fire you up. Donovan McNabb, more Mr. Congeniality type things. When they go bad, nobody really seems to believe they can pull out of it. That's the sense that you get. There's very little emotion from the Eagles offense. Back to you.
Good observation. In fact, most of their vocal leaders are on the defensive side of the ball.
That's absolutely right. And I think Pam makes a great point that there is nobody down there really taking control and trying to get everybody going.
Ryan Mitchell is working for the Giants these days as Dorsey Levens, who used to be with the Eagles, goes off tackle and gets to the 39-yard line, and they'll need about 5 yards for the first down, make it 4.
You know, I just think it's a case where he is so revered, McNabb, and we've got a player down.
Michael Lewis, I believe, the strong safety.
But just to get back to my point, you know, McNabb is so revered on this football team. I think it's difficult when things are going poorly for him for anybody to start ranting and raving because they feel like they'd be yelling at him.
And a timeout with yet another player injured on the field.
Zesty Chicken Bowl. Grilled all-white meat chicken, seasoned rice, cheese, lettuce, and Fiesta salsa. Made right when you order it. For a fresh taste that's hard to top. Show off. For fresh-made taste, think outside the bun.
You know, I dated a girl named Georgia. Had to break it off, though. It's about love, man. That's what it's
For
about.
when you need it most, our longest-lasting Energizer Max ever.
After that, I told myself,
Do you have the bunny inside?
I am not dating girls named...
Fox is telling these European women that this $11,000 a year cowboy is worth $80 million. We lied. Again.
He's rich.
The next Joe Millionaire at 8/7 Central tomorrow on Fox.
Quentin Michael, number 46, will replace Michael Lewis at strong safety. So you have 2 first-year safeties now, Clinton Hart and Quentin Michael. 3rd down and 4 for Kerry Collins on his own 38-yard line. Dorsey Levens flagged down, and Levens is tackled. He appeared to be just slightly short of the first down.
And there's a penalty here, but I think that tells you what the Giants think of Philadelphia's ability to move the football against them. I mean, there it is, 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5, and they're running the football just to take time off the clock as opposed to trying to pick up the first down.
And it wasn't like they were back playing pass either. They were stacked in there against the run.
And they'll have a measurement to see whether the Giants picked up the first down before the penalty is assessed.
You know, at the risk of injuring my partner down here, Dick Stockton, I think one of the most difficult things in sports is like what Grady Little faced the other night with Pedro Martinez. You know, Donovan McNabb is your star player. He's your franchise. He's your highest paid player. And how difficult is it to go get the ball from Pedro Martinez or Donovan McNabb?
Great point.
Because it is emotionally, you know it's going to alter your entire team. And yet, there also has to be moments when, as a manager, you make the tough call.
Right.
Penalty is declined.
And I'm not so sure for Andy Reid that moment's not getting pretty close.
Well, you know, and you have to consider what Donovan McNabb means to the club, but there are other aspects. I don't think it's just the quarterback, and we talked about the receiving end of it.
It's not, and Andy recognizes that. I mean, that's probably why a change is not made yet, is because he understands there's a lot of other things that are happening that are keeping them from having success.
Jeff Feagles to kick it away, and Westbrook is going to let it go out of bounds, and it does. So the Eagles with 2:50 remaining. Not bad. Feagles has been punting brilliantly all day, but this time they'll be at the 24-yard line. Let's bring you up to date on our low-scoring but intense battle in this 10-7 game. Jeremy Shockey fumbles on the 17-yard line of the Eagles, and then Will Allen with an interception. Ultimately, the Giants got a field goal and then took the lead on this pass from Collins to Shockey, who put the exclamation point on to make it 10-7. The Eagles led 7-0 after the first quarter, 7-3 at the half, and the Giants trying to hold on to the 3-point lead, but here come the Eagles and see what they have in mind with 2:50 to go and all of their timeouts remaining. And there is the pass to Pinkston, and trying to go again against Ralph Brown, and it's incomplete, out of bounds.
Trying to go to that back shoulder throw, and yet it just simply wasn't there. It was just they didn't execute it very well. Ralph Brown really didn't get overly excited. You could see he's not in the slightest worried about Todd Pinkston running by him. He knew he was coming out of it. There was going to be some kind of a small route run.
Chris, early in the game, they tried a couple of shots with Pinkston against Brown, and they sort of left that alone. 2nd and 10 on the 24. Here's Westbrook. Nothing doing. And it's Cornelius Griffin. Michael Strahan telling us yesterday that Griffin doesn't have a lot of sacks, but he has been a terrific hustle player and outstanding against the run.
Well, he really has, and that's why he's in there. He's not really in there so much to rush the passer, but he has been tremendous on the inside, just putting pressure on that running game and moving the line of scrimmage back towards the offense. That time he gets penetration in there and just doesn't allow the runner anywhere to go with the ball.
Big play coming up here. Third down and 10, and McNabb in the grasp and down. Kenny Holmes of the Giants with the sack. With under 2 minutes to go, and we'll have the 2-minute warning, a loss of 4, and for the Giants, their 3rd quarterback sack on McNabb today.
Dick, absolutely nowhere to go with the football. He's trying to get it to Pinkston. He gets jammed by Ralph Brown, falls down and can't get him the ball, and these guys have just been blanketed all day.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Wachovia. Together we can achieve uncommon things.
What can glass teach us about corporate and investment banking? Success requires both strength and imagination. At Wachovia Securities, we learn from the world around us. Because uncommon challenges call for uncommon wisdom. Wachovia Securities, corporate and investment banking.
Say aloha to a great new taste from Papa John's.
Introducing 2 new pizzas with a zesty barbecue taste. Papa John's new barbecue chicken and bacon pizza and our new Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizza with the added taste of juicy pineapple. Try Papa John's new barbecue chicken and bacon pizza or Hawaiian barbecue chicken pizza. Your choice, just $10.99. Call us now or order online at papajohns.com.
Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's.
My husband's going to cut you off when the light turns green.
I'm driving with my knees.
You don't always know who to avoid out there.
I'm really tired.
That's why every Saturn L300 comes standard with ABS brakes, traction control, and head curtain side airbags. Get a new 2004 Saturn L300 or L300 with 0% APR financing and $500 towards your down payment. Excludes L300 For restrictions, see your retailer.
2-minute warning with 1:58 on the clock. Brad Childress talking things over with Donovan McNabb. But what can he do as the Eagles get set to punt?
I'll tell you, the only thing that I've seen that they should do in this game, every time they go to that spread offense, they just run slants. They ran it all week last week. They ran it all week this week, and the DBs are just jumping all over it. They ran some kind of a slant and go. I think it may even be there.
Dirk Johnson. Not a long kick, and they'll let it bounce, and it will go out of bounds as Dirk Johnson's kick remains in Eagle territory with 1:51. Well, game 2 of the World Series tonight. And Joe Buck, normally up here with you guys, will be at Yankee Stadium along with Tim McCarver for the second game of the Yankees-Marlins series, with the Florida Marlins winning yesterday by a score of 3-2. And tonight the Yankees will send Andy Pettitte, who has been reliable. He has won game 2 in every series thus far. And Mark Redmond will be pitching, the left-hander for the Marlins.
The Eagles have to make a stand now. Their only chance to go 3 and out here with 3 timeouts.
And they got to use the timeouts on defense, which is not what you like to do. Dorsey Levens with the carry, and the Eagles call the timeout with 1:46 on the clock. Levens loses a yard on the play.
And I always think this is the most difficult decision for a play caller. You know they're going to be coming. You know they're going to be blitzing. You know you're going to have man coverage on the outside. Are you willing to take a chance throwing the football? And incompletion obviously stops the clock and saves you the timeout, but you also run the risks of interceptions. But right now, I just don't think the Giants are going to be able to take it and run the football 3 straight plays unless they're just willing to punt it and dare the other team to try and score.
Right. I mean, they've got to get a first down in order to run it down and not give the ball back to Philadelphia. But I think it depends on each game situation and what's happened up to that point. And if you look at what's happened in this game, I would expect the Giants to run the football the next 2 times. If they don't pick up the first down, force the Eagles to burn their timeouts, punt it to them, and then play good defense.
Yeah,
They've stopped them every time already and give the ball back to them without any first down or without any timeouts.
Yeah, they can take their chances on defense with no timeouts left for Philadelphia. Here's Levens. And Levens is going to lose a couple.
And as a quarterback, what you're telling those guys in the huddle, Kerry Collins ought to be saying to Dorsey Levens, hey, make sure we protect the ball. We want to run hard. We're hoping to get a first down, but make sure you get 2 hands on the ball and do not be fighting for extra yardage. The other thing is, based on where the ball is on the 47-yard line, if they do elect to punt, if they don't get the first down, then based on the way Fiegels has been punting, they're going to pin them down, and they're pretty good anyway.
And the other angle for the Eagles is that they only need a field goal to tie the game and send it into overtime and see what happens, so they don't really need a touchdown, even if they have to go a long distance.
You know, I think the Giants are going with check with me plays at the line of scrimmage right now. You saw Kerry Collins tap this leg on this side, basically telling Dorsey Levens, I'm going to run it this way. Even if you can't hear me, we're going to go away from the 3-man over on this side. That little signal, that little communication told him which way to go.
3rd down and 13 on the Eagle 47, 1:39. That becomes important at the time. And here is Levens. And Levens holds on to the ball. That was his first priority. And then 4th down coming up. And the Eagles have used their 3rd and final timeout with 1:34 to go. Second half of our NFL on Fox doubleheader. Bruce Smith coming back to where he starred for so many years with the Bills. Drew Bledsoe, the Buffalo quarterback. It'll be the Redskins and the Bills coming up next. The Giants leading in this game 10-7. The winner of this game will go to 3-3, and the Redskins will need a win to stay ahead of the winner of this contest.
And I just don't think you can underestimate the significance and the importance, not just for the Philadelphia Eagles, but for Donovan McNabb with this last drive. If he can get something going and win back his teammates, win back his head coaches, and get something on the board with this drive, then I think the job will still be his. But if they continue to struggle, I'm just not so sure after this week.
Well, he's going to have plenty of time on the clock, even though he has no timeouts.
This game in week number 2.
Why in the world do you punt that football where it can be returned? You're inside the 50-yard line. Why in the world are you not kicking that ball out of bounds? And you're talking about reminiscent. How about in the Cowboys game where they do kick that kickoff out of bounds? It cost them that game.
85 yards, Troy.
We talked about it earlier. Jeff Feagles is third in the NFL, putting the ball inside the 20-yard line. He did that twice in the first half. That time he doesn't even try to put it out of bounds. He tries to pooch punt it, and he gives him an opportunity to return it. Doesn't make sense.
Oh my goodness.
You never would have thought, and the Giants with 1:16 left, if the extra point is good, they will need a touchdown as we see it again. Now, they may review to see whether he stepped out of bounds.
That was very close to a block in the back on that first man down there as well.
I don't see it.
Not even close.
No, he stayed in bounds all the way. Marcellus Rivers was the player who had a chance to knock him out of bounds.
And now, how big is that turnover by Kerry Collins down there when they could have at least tried to kick a field goal? If they had been able to make that as a field goal and get 3 more points, then they would have an opportunity to get a field goal to get back in this. Now they're going to need a touchdown.
I mean, this is just unbelievable. 313 yards to 135, and the Eagles are...
And here's that play by Kerry Collins when he drops back. If he's just able to hang on to the ball here, they kick a field goal, go up 6 points. Then, even with this touchdown, they're able to get the ball and go back and try to get a field goal again to win the ball game. Now they're going to need a touchdown after this happens.
They'll call it an 84-yard punt return for a touchdown, first of his career. And how exasperating this has to be for a Giant team that lost to another divisional foe here at home, the Dallas Cowboys, the way they did in overtime in week number 2.
Well, it's happened over and over in the kicking situations with this team going back to last year.
This is a touchdown. The Philadelphia player did not tread on the sideline.
And Jim Fossil had a perfect view of it on that sidelines to know whether or not he did go out of bounds, and just to, challenge it. What the heck? See if maybe you can get him to overturn it. But I think he knew all along that Brian Westbrook did not go out of bounds.
And it would not be a challenge. It would be a review by the observers upstairs.
But this really is a long way from over, this game. The Giants have all 3 timeouts remaining, and they're going to have plenty of time to work with here.
They need the touchdown if the extra point is good by Akers and not a field goal, and the kick is good. So the Eagles are in front 14-10 with 1:16 to go. For those who have just joined us, this has been an amazing, crazy quilt game between 2 teams that desperately want to get back in the race. Both offenses have not been that effective. Donovan McNabb has numbers of 9 for 23, 64 yards. His wide receivers have not been a factor. The Eagles led 7-3 at the half. Collins hit Shockey with a touchdown to put the Giants up. And then this is the play that amazingly gave the Eagles the lead again.
Dick, don't forget, though, that last week the Eagles were almost in this exact same situation. They had a lead late, and they gave up about a 50-yard kickoff return to the Dallas Cowboys, who went on to kick the game-winning field goal in this one. So a very big return moment right now in the ball game, especially for the New York Giants.
I tell you, the Giants over there on their sidelines, they have got to be absolutely stunned because they have not played particularly well. But compared to the way the Eagles have played today, they have been dominating this football game throughout the game, particularly here in the second half, and only to have it come down to a punt where Jeff Feagles, one of the best in the game, is not direct kicking it out of bounds. Gives Brian Westbrook an opportunity to return it for the touchdown. And now they got to hope something can happen offensively with Kerry Collins.
Well, they got Brian Mitchell back deep to return the kickoff by David Akers with 1:16 to go and 3 timeouts. And the kick is fielded by Delvin Joyce. And Joyce is hit at the 35 with 1:12 on the clock. And the Giants have not been able to this point to finish off the deal this season. So here comes Collins with 1:12 to go. And you're right, Chris. It was Troy Vincent who said, look, we led with 1.5 minutes to go. Everyone wants to blame Donovan McNabb, but it was up to our special teams and our defense to close the deal, and they couldn't last week in Dallas.
Well, they've certainly pulled their weight here.
Tiki Barber in at running back. 4 receivers and Barber. And here is Collins. And it's complete, and extra yards by Amani Toomer. Amani Toomer got about 10 extra yards after the Eagle defender missed him, and they get to the 44 of Philadelphia.
Well, Monty Toomer does a good route. They try to keep everything underneath him, which is exactly what Troy Vincent's trying to do. But right here, once he makes the catch, just get him out of bounds. And you got to try to get him out, push him out, tackle him. He's unable to. Amani gets another big yardage off of it after the missed tackle.
1:05 on the clock. Still 3 timeouts left. The Giants can only win with a touchdown here. And here is Collins' pass. Incomplete. Hilliard was his intended receiver, and he was dropped by Kalu after he let go.
I like that coverage a whole lot better than I did the first one. The first time they came out and played a soft zone. Now they're playing man underneath with deep help. So now you've got a chance to run underneath the receivers and not worry about what happens behind you. They locked them up pretty good right there.
Well, where Kerry was going with the ball there to Ike Hilliard, that's the weakness of the coverage. There's a tremendous amount of pressure on that slot defender versus that 2-man coverage.
Exactly a minute left in regulation. 2nd and 10 at the 44. Quickly out to Shockey, and the Giants calling a timeout to stop the clock at 54 seconds. A 6-yard pickup to Jeremy Shockey. Well, today's game is being produced by Richie Zients and directed by Artie Kempner. The technical producer is Matt Benedict. The technical director, Rich Basili, and the audio mixer is Fred Alduis. The associate directors are Greg Scopatoni and Derek Manning. The broadcast associates, Judy Wong and Jeremy Green. Special thanks today on cameras, and it's not that cold, to Peter Chalveris, David Geller, Andrew Mitchell, and Vince Scafidi. And videotape to Victor Gonzalez and Paul Zecca, and in graphics to Mark Visori. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Thanks to Chris Visser, our spotter, and handling the stats, Rick Odioso. 3rd and 4. Obviously, 2-down territory.
Well, expect something down the middle. They're in the 2-man coverage once again.
54 seconds on the clock. And pass thrown out of bounds. Hilliard was the guy he wanted to go to. And they're getting to Kerry Collins.
Good pressure that time by N.D. Kalu. He has not had a sack on the season. But I tell you, this is a big decision time right now.
It's a 4-point game, and 4th down coming up.
You know, on that coverage, they had Brian Mitchell out of the backfield. The outside receivers versus 2-man is not where you got to go with the football. You got to work underneath. You got to either work Shockey down the middle, or you got to work those backs. He had an opportunity with Brian Mitchell to pick up the 1st down.
They need 4 yards. They have to get it inside the 34-yard line to keep it going. And here is Kerry Collins. Pass nearly intercepted, but the Eagles will take over on downs. Bobby Taylor on the throw intended for Jeremy Shockey. Talk about shock. Another shocking setback looms for the Giants here.
Well, again, they come back again with the 2-man coverage. They're trying to throw outside breaking routes. Extremely difficult. Tiki Barber was working underneath again versus a corner, but he had the inside track, and they just were unable to convert on that 3rd down or 4th down to keep the ball going.
And for Kerry Collins, every time he gets in a real tight situation, he's looking for Jeremy Shockey. And the difference in the ball game today, defensively for Philadelphia, is that Bobby Taylor has come back. This is his 1st game back in the lineup, and he has eaten alive Jeremy Shockey in every key situation.
But in the big picture, the Giants suffering another heartening loss, and the Philadelphia Eagles taking advantage with the 84-yard punt return by Brian Westbrook to give the Eagles the lead after it seemed the Giants were just about going to let the Eagles run out the clock with an offense that didn't work today, but it didn't happen, and the Eagles end up the victor.
And sometimes you need a win like this in order to get things going, and definitely the Eagles were desperate of a victory in this manner, the way that they had played throughout the game. And the Giants, they go on the road next week against the Vikings. That's not going to be a picnic. The Eagles, they go back home and play the New York Jets.
So Brian Westbrook scores both Eagle touchdowns, and the Eagles survive to go 3-3 on the year. The Giants drop to 2-4 and are in last place in the NFC East. A stunned crowd here at Giants Stadium sees the Eagles defeat the Giants 14-10. For Troy Aikman, Chris Collinsworth, and Pam Oliver, Dick Stockton saying so long from East Rutherford, New Jersey. Right now, the SBC postgame show with James Brown in our studios in Los Angeles. So long, everybody.